the live. I am live on YouTube. I'm going to be answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. So feel free to comment below any questions that you guys might have. If you guys are interested in getting your own natal chart reading, synastry reading, progressed natal chart reading, mini natal chart reading, or mini synastry reading, the information for all of that is going to be in the description box below. If there are some of you that are interested in starting your own business or you need business guidance, let's say you started and you would like to ask some questions, I do have a one-on-one business meeting available. It is virtual. And then I also have a package as well, okay? In terms of, you can do 3 sessions, you can do 6 sessions. I have that for astrology guidance. We go in depth in terms of your natal charts. And also I have that for social media content creation as well. Hey, Mr. Journal. Hey, Tia, how are you guys doing? What's new, you guys? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. What is new? What is the 411? What should we talk about today? How are the vibes out there for everybody? Hey, Concerned, how are you doing? What's new, you guys? Hey, Gia, what's new, you guys? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Hey, TS, you said how to deal with relationships when you have Pluto in the 7th house. Yes, that is intense. So when you have Pluto in the 7th, Scorpio occupying your 7th, so Scorpio descendant or Scorpio Venus, or if you have Venus Pluto conjunct, or any really Venus Pluto aspect. But yes, this is going to be intense. Relationships are going to be intense overall because of the fact that basically, first of all, you're craving intensity, but then also these types of people are attracted to you. It's kind of like a chicken and the egg. Like, you're into it, but then you can kind of get over it. But then these types of people are going to be attracted to you. So basically, through your relationships, you're going through change and transformation, and then also the other person too, okay? Or they bring it into your life as well. So it says, but it can be really intense, you guys, with this energy, because you could attract like hidden people, secretive people. You could attract like stalkers in the extreme version. Like, it's intense, okay, when you have this energy, because you have this like scorpionic energy, right? And the Scorpio energy is like this sexual energy that's also healing energy, and people want to merge is really what it is to you, but you also want to merge. So there's a lot to say. Oh, hey, Gia, your Scorpio sun with a Scorpio Venus, is it conjunct? Let me know. Hey, Chi, how are you doing? What's new, you guys? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. Also, I brought all of my Oracle decks here to show you guys today if you guys are interested in seeing my decks. I don't use them anymore. I don't do readings for people anymore, but I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a collection. So I was like, I wanted to show you guys just so you guys can maybe get some ideas for cards of your own. I do still sometimes use them for, let's say, friends and family, but not for clients. Yeah, it's intense. Venus and Scorpio is intense because that's also hidden lovers, hidden friends, but then also you could attract people who hide lovers and friends from you. Does that make sense? Oracle cards, you know, like the decks that people do readings with. That's actually what this channel originally started with, was me doing readings. I did first the signs, then I did true crime readings. Those were fun. And then eventually I just moved into astrology. You also, oh my gosh, so everyone in the chat has some sort of like Venus in Scorpio, Scorpio in the 7th, Pluto in the 7th energy. Yeah, you guys, it's intense. It's intense because you're looking to merge, but at the same time, if you haven't done your own inner work, then you also could be kind of like looking for chaos in relationships, or like attract chaos in relationships too, whether you're aware of it or not. Hey, Tommy. Hey, Marcus. Oh, nice. Sagittarius, Cancer. What's new, you guys? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. If you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, or what should we talk about today? But yes, so that Scorpio Venus is intense. It's like turmoil. It's like you come through people's lives like a tornado, but also that could happen to you. Do you know what I mean? Until you kind of get a grasp on that energy. And also it can deal with like manipulation, jealousy, possessiveness. Basically, you're like always in a Plutonian relationship. You know how I made that video about Plutonian relationships? People who feel those probably the most are going to be people who aren't used to the energy. So like, let's say you have like a Gemini energy or like Sag, you know what I mean? Like these types of energies, and maybe you have Aries or something of that sort, and you're used to that energy, and then a Plutonian relationship comes through. It's intense. You're kind of like, what is going on? But if you're a Plutonian person, you might actually be craving a Plutonian relationship yourself, right? Because you're looking for that depth. So it's like these relationships could be healing, but it also depends how much work you've done. I'm answering astrology questions, Marcus. So anything to do with your natal charts or anything of that sort. So if you have a question about your natal chart, an aspect, or anything of that sort, or something to do with the metaphysical world, those are the types of questions I am answering today. Welcome to everybody joining. What should we talk about today, you guys? I can also get started on showing you guys my oracle deck. So I'm not doing any readings with the oracle decks. I just wanted to show you guys, if you guys are maybe readers yourselves and you want inspiration for a deck, or maybe you guys have these decks already, I wanted to show you guys. I didn't count how many I have, but there are quite a few here, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. I mean, of course, I have my tarot deck, okay, you guys? So in terms of like certain decks that I have, I still use them. Do you know what I mean? Like I still do readings, let's say for like friends or family, but I don't do readings for clients in terms of the cards anymore. I just do astrology readings now, like natal chart readings and synastry readings and all of that. North Node and Cancer in the 8th house. What would you like to know about that? So this is my tarot deck, you guys, and this is the cute little holding package thing for it. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. One of my family members made it for me, so I love having that because the tarot cards themselves don't actually come with a package. I'm not sure if they do, with a little container. You said you want to move to Spain from the US while Neptune and Saturn will be on your ascendant. Do I think moving during that transit will be okay? Hard to say. I don't do predictive readings, and in terms of like relocation astrology, I don't really do that for people either. So it's hard to say. If you're feeling pulled, there could be a reason that you're being pulled to go. What I will say, you guys, is I just feel like there's going to be instability everywhere in the world in the next little while to come. So I don't think it's going to be in a specific place. Like it could be maybe more intense in certain areas, but I do think that is just happening globally. So wherever you guys, again, feel the best or feel called to go, it's up to you guys, really. So that was my tarot deck. The next deck is in this cute little package. So this one I actually got on Shein. I don't know if they still have them, but yes. So this is my basically yes or no angel answers deck. Really interesting you asked me that, Tommy. I was thinking about that today. Really, really interesting that you would ask that. So yes, these are my yes or no cards. And with these cards, basically you can ask any sort of yes or no question and they will give you like yes, no, maybe, those types of answers. So I like these and I still use these a lot. Okay, so I still use these a lot. They're called angel answers. And by the way, this isn't a sponsored video. I just thought it would be fun to show you guys all of my cards because I noticed them sitting there and I was like, oh, like let me show you guys all of the decks. You said, hey everyone, oh, you're welcome. You said, can I explain what it means, what this means karmically? Dad's rising sign is the same as the eldest kid's sun. Eldest kid's rising is the same as the second kid's sun. Interesting. And so on with the youngest looping back to the mom. I noticed that families, and it's so interesting because I have a video on my TikTok, or about to go on my TikTok. So make sure you guys check out my TikTok. It's called BJOSIC, and then my Instagram is BarbaraJSC. On my Instagram page is more so just like my day-to-day kinds of things. So if you guys want to follow me there, check it out. I also have threads where I type all this like information that comes into my mind. So check out my threads too. But yes, on my TikTok, I have the short form videos. I actually post them there first and then I post them on here. Not for any particular reason. That's just kind of how the order started. So that's just kind of what I've been going with. But I have a video coming out about basically like family astrology, what I've noticed in terms of family astrology. So psychically, what I've been thinking about is basically families kind of travel together in groups, okay? And you'll see that in charts, things like this, okay? I'm curious to know what sign is it in and what's going on in terms of the charts with everybody. But it's basically like just psychically when I hook into the energy, this is more so psychically, not astrologically, like families kind of travel in groups together, I find, through lifetimes, okay? So, you know, they can incarnate, someone can be the mother, someone can be the sister, like people who are within the vicinity of like the family unit, because when you guys are in a family unit, okay, and a lot of the time in family astrology, you'll see there's like 8th house synastry taking place there and all of these things, sometimes 12th house, 4th house for sure, okay? So you'll see all these things, and a lot of the time this happens because of the fact that there might be a lot of shadow work to do, a lot of things to clear, a lot of karma to clear. So it's always up to the person that wants to clear the karma is really what it is. And then when you clear whatever's generationally going on, you clear for the whole family line. So sometimes it could be like energy siphoning, binding types of situations going on, and that's why you guys keep incarnating together is really what it is. So that's something that I've noticed. So you will see these types of patterns taking place in natal charts, okay? You'll pick up on something. Maybe you guys all have the same moon sign, or like in your case, so it's this. So I'd have to kind of focus on the energy a little bit more to tell you exactly what's going on, and I'm curious to know what the sign is too. But yes, definitely probably something to clear there. Probably something connected to, because it's the rising, something to do with like the expression of the self. Actually, as I'm thinking about this is going back to the grandfather. I feel like there was a restriction. I'm curious to know what's going on actually with the Saturn, with the dad, okay? Because there's something going on in the dad's line. I'm just kind of hooking into this now psychically. There's something going on in the dad's line, and it's connected to the grandfather and something to do with the restriction on the self. So I'm curious because psychically I'm seeing the father, or like maybe this is your spouse, or I'm not sure. But regardless, like the dad in this story where you typed all of this, basically that person's dad, okay, so the grandfather in this line, there's something going on where this person restricted the father, and that's kind of perpetuating throughout the family line. Hey everyone. Hey Mary, how are you guys doing? You said, do we have a choice not to come back? You said because you don't want to. Yeah, I think you can set the intention, and it's important to learn all about how to exit properly is really what it is, because it's like energetically, okay? Energetically, we are gridded down here, and a lot of religions try to teach about this, you guys, and it's like, you know, in religion, there's two truths and a lie, right? But, you know, there's some truth in there with what they're teaching. So they talk about forgiveness and all these things. You basically want to clear the energy. It's hard to explain because I feel it in my body. So it depends how you guys pick up on psychic information. But basically, you guys have to clear cords with certain people energetically, because they might energetically pull you back in, or like kind of loop you back, you know, to come back around. So it's this. Also, there could be like other people that you might build new karma with while you're down here. So I have a video on here called How to Clear Karma. Check out that video, guys. It's just my own findings thus far, okay? Of course, there's probably more to learn. And also, like, back in the day in the Eastern traditions, they used to teach people what to do at that point of exit. Because some people now are even saying you're not supposed to follow the light and all these things. I think you need to have a strong intention. And I think you need to not be deceived at that point, right? Where it's like, let's say they show you, you know, Billy, and you didn't share your pencil with Billy when you were like in grade 1. And it's like, oh, you made Billy feel this way, so I have to go back and rectify the karma. You know what I mean? You kind of have to go through this level of like exploration, clearing the energy, closing the energy, and like making sure that, first of all, there's no cords to people, because that's going to loop you back around. And also there's no cords in terms of like desires that weren't either fulfilled. I hope that makes sense, because it's like, I find the soul has the core desire the soul wants to do. They come down here, they get distracted. And not only do they get distracted, they build karma with all of these different people is really, really what it is. So that's the struggle, because it's like the trick is to clear the karma but not accumulate more. I hope that makes sense, and kind of keep yourself elevated enough to not get dragged in, because the devil energy is always going to try to pull you back down. Oh, good. I'm glad that that resonated with the grandpa. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was psychically picking up on. You said, it's funny how I felt why you wanted to move. Yeah, I mean, just psychic life is just what it is. You said, how will the Libra room? Do you mean room or moon? Are you talking about Libra moon, or because you said Libra room, but I'm curious to know if you were talking about Libra moon. You said you're a Cancer sun, Scorpio moon, and Leo rising. That is a lot. There's a lot going on with the Cancer sun there. A lot to clear with the father. Something going on with the father here, because a lot of the time Cancer sun fathers, I find they tend to either be alcoholics or struggle with something like with their emotions and not expressing it. So there's something here going on with the father. And then the Scorpio was intense too, because then the mother also would have been intense. She actually would have been energetically overbearing in this dynamic with the two parents, the Scorpio moon mother and then the Cancer sun father. And again, traditionally in astrology, the sun is the father, moon is the mother. The roles could have been reversed. And then there's you, Leo rising, trying to be seen. But there's a lot to clear here. It's the Cancer sun energetically that needs to be cleared is really what it is. That's kind of what I'm picking up on. Yeah, Libra moon. I'm trying to think here. Hold on a second. The Libra new moon, what house do you have Libra in? Let me know. You said you have a specific sign that would be your soulmate. I don't think so. I think we have multiple soulmates, you guys, in this lifetime. So I don't think there's a specific sign. There might be signs that you vibe with more or you get along with more, okay, because of maybe your 7th house, because of maybe your 8th house, maybe your 12th house, maybe your 4th house. Those are the houses you can see. A lot of the time, you'll probably be attracted to those energies, okay? Because the 4th house is the family, so these people will feel like home. 7th house are relationships. 8th house are intimate dynamics, and 12th house could be a past life connection. So you said, is it difficult for 12th house moons to their intuition? And I think you correct. You said to access their intuition. It could be. With the 12th house moon, there's a lot to clear with the mother, because the relationship with the mother is karmic and carried over from a previous lifetime, okay? So that could energetically, I try to stay away from the word block, but energetically, let's say interfere because of the relationship with a mother or something happening here that kind of energetically overpowers. But you should be able to access it. Do you know what I mean? Like you should still be able to access your intuition. It's just a matter of clearing your vessel, taking off everyone's energy off of you and not doing substances. I actually have a video on here called Getting in Tune with Your Psychic Gifts and Abilities, 2 videos actually. And then I have another video called How to Stay Grounded as a 12th House Person. Check out those videos, okay? Because you actually have to do a lot of energy work to kind of elevate your frequency, to stay grounded in your body because you're already out of body. When you're out of body, you're picking up on things more. And personally, like sometimes this is how I find anxiety to also manifest within the body. There's different ways of anxiety to manifest. Sometimes it manifests when you're waiting for something. Sometimes you have an actual fear over something and that's where it's rooting from. But sometimes anxiety comes from you picking up on too many energies. Like the way that I see it psychically is like kind of like a radio. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you're trying to catch the radio station and it's like, it kind of sounds like 2 radio stations are mixing. So it's kind of like this, right? It's like when your energy's blurred and the lines are crossing with other people's, because ultimately, you guys, we are telepathic, right? So you're always picking up on people's thoughts. When you are a watery person, like a 12 house person, Scorpio, even Cancer, okay? 4 house, 8 house. If you have any of these energies, you're open energetically. Sometimes me and my friends call this porous, okay? You're open, so you're absorbing all the time. So sometimes when you're in close proximity to people, you're actually absorbing their thoughts, okay? Is really what it is. So you have to learn yourself. You have to learn yourself, trust yourself, develop a strong solar plexus, close your aura is really what it is to kind of elevate is really, really what it is and kind of focus on being within the body, okay? Hey, everyone. You said you like what I said. One of my recent videos about Scorpio oftentimes do best with other Scorpios. Exactly, because it's the only sign to understand the depth of the connection that is needed. Yeah, I saw a post online and that's kind of what inspired that video where they were saying that Scorpios are best paired with Pisces. Now, obviously, whoever was saying this is like surface level astrology, right? They're just looking at the sun signs. And like, in theory, I get where it's coming from. Like the energies, like water energies, you know what I mean? Or where they're coming from, whoever said this. Because I guess this was a post that somebody made about another person. Anyways, regardless, it's like, I get where they're coming from and I get the sentiment. But Pisces is too airy-fairy for the Scorpio unless both of them have something going on in the synastry where they vibe. Do you know what I mean? That's like kind of pulling them together. If we look at strictly Pisces, strictly Scorpio, you know, it's not going to work long term because the Pisces is too, you know, high vibe and rainbows, butterflies, airy-fairy for the Scorpio person. Scorpio wants to talk about the darker sides of life and that makes the Piscean person uncomfortable or the Neptunian person uncomfortable. This could work. For example, like let's say for a period of time, you know, for like a brief point in time in your life, right? Let's say you have a Pisces friend or something of that sort, like that could work, right? Like let's say, you know, you're the Scorpio person, maybe you're super intense and ruthless. The Pisces person comes along and kind of helps you soften that energy up within the self. I can see that manifesting in that way, but long term, like I could just see for the Scorpio person, like Scorpio meets anybody where they're at. So for the Pisces person, they could still vibe. But for the Scorpio person, the Pisces person could be just like too spiritually bypassing vibes. You know what I mean? Kind of like all the New Age people. Like the New Age group and crew, like that's all very Neptunian to me. You know, all the things they talk about, like the high vibes and like, you know, all these things. So it's just like too, like not with what's actually happening. You know what I mean? Because like we're going through like the shadows right now. Is actually what's happening, right? And then for the Pisces person, Scorpio might kind of also not resonate with them after a period of time because Scorpio is going to try to get them to go deep or talk about dark things and so on and so forth. An example I think that I can give you guys, and I feel like I've mentioned this in one of my previous lives a while back, was I had a friend. Now this friend wasn't a Pisces, but in retrospect, I feel like this friend could have had heavy Neptune or maybe 12th house in their chart or maybe some other things going on in Pisces, perhaps. And I'm Scorpio dominant, like that's my number one energy, okay? So I'll give you guys like the dichotomy of the dynamic, okay? So me and my friend, we're sitting in a park, you know, we're looking at the water and like the Pisces Neptunian friend is kind of like, or like I'm sure that's their dominant energy. Like now in retrospect, I don't have their time of birth, so it's hard to tell or say, but let's say, right, just based on their personality, I'm sure, okay, that there was like Pisces, Neptune, 12th house, like something going on there, okay? So whatever, we're watching the water, you know, the friend is like enjoying the water and like all in like the romance vibes. And then I come through and I'm just like looking at the ducks or whatever, maybe it was a goose, I don't know, some animal that was there. And I was like to my friend, just like out of the blue, and this is just like, again, it's just like the perfect example of like the dynamic. I'm like to my friend and I'm like, what do you think happens to like the duck or the goose like when they die? And the friend was like dying because my friend was like, oh, where did this come from? It came out of left field. But I was genuinely curious because I'm like, I've never seen a dead duck or like a dead goose anywhere. So I'm like, you know, do the people come and like pick the animal up, or do they go hide in the forest somewhere, or do they sink in the water? Like that's just kind of what I'm thinking about. So it was just like funny because it was kind of like, you know, the romance, like Pisces and like wee energy is kind of like energetically ruined, I guess. So is this. You said you have no Libra in your chart. Is Libra intercepted? Yes, you guys, it's eclipse season. You said Pisces eclipse conjunct your moon and Pisces in the 7th house. What does that mean? I'm trying to think. Is there an eclipse in Pisces? Hold on. Is Virgo? Okay, we might actually have a full moon in Pisces. So is the eclipse going to be in Pisces? Are we already starting? Oh my goodness. So it's conjuncting your moon. So if you have Pisces in the 7th, something's going to be eclipsed, like shown to you regarding your relationships. You said, oh my gosh, you typed your comment about going to the ocean before you heard me start talking about driving to the ocean. There you go. We're connected. You're welcome. Michelle, you said your Libra 12 has stellium rising. Sun, Venus, Uranus with Pluto in the 11th house, Virgo at 29 degrees. How to prepare for the eclipses. Okay, so it's September 21st. You basically answered my question for the other person that was talking about the eclipse. You said, oh, it's at 29 degrees as well. Okay, so September 21st. See, you guys, I don't follow the transits. Maybe until like a few days before when like everyone's talking about them, I like pick up on it. Make sure you guys like the video, you guys. Thank you so much. You can like it by double tapping the screen, obviously, if you so choose to. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So how is the Pisces eclipse going to affect you? So I'm trying to see here. Hold on a second. What you want to do is you want to see for the Pisces eclipse, you want to see what house you have Pisces in. Like for all of the eclipses, whatever sign they're going to be going on in, okay? You want to see where do you have that sign in your chart and what house is it in, and that's like the area that's going to be affected for you. You guys can do this for yourselves for any transits, okay? But sometimes it depends how your houses are divided, so you can check online because sometimes it might say that, let's say you have Pisces in your 7th, but maybe the majority of your Pisces house is going to be in the 6th house, right? So you have to check and see exactly what house it's affecting. But overall, like let's say just like for fun reasons, you know, when people do those videos, like they're like Libra rising, you know, it's gonna affect you in this way. What they're doing is they're basing it off the fact, like let's say, you know, for Libra rising, let's say you have Pisces in the, I'm trying to think, so Libra rising, and then the descendant is going to be Aries, which is your 7th house. You might have Pisces in your 6th house if you're a Libra rising. I'm trying to think, but let's say it's in your 6th house, okay? So when they do those videos and they're like Libra rising this, Scorpio rising that, like that's what they're basing it on. That's why like sometimes they tell you to check like for 2 of the signs or your moon sign too, or your sun sign and all these things, okay? So anyways, if you guys want to check for yourselves for anything that's ever going on, check to see what sign is the transit in, okay? Or what's going on in the sky. Then you check in your chart to see what house you have that sign in, okay? So Pisces eclipse, which is going to be the full moon, I'm guessing, okay? In that particular case, you're going to check where do you have Pisces in your chart, what house is it in, and that's the house that something's going to be quote unquote shown to you, whatever the eclipse means, okay? So the eclipse is something, you know, being shown to you, you know, something showing, like coming from, you know, beneath the surface. That's what eclipse season is all about, okay? And no need to freak out because it happens every year, so it's fine. Hey everyone, hey Maria, how are you guys doing? You said it's in the 9th house. You said Libra in the 9th house. What was your original question, Gia? You said Libra moon, so I'm trying to think now, hold on. That's gonna be during Libra season, right? Thank you, Maria. These are actually one of my favorite nails that I have done, you guys. And I brought all my oracle cards because I wanted to show you guys my oracle cards, my oracle card collection. I don't do readings anymore, but I was like, I thought it would be fun to show you guys all my oracle cards. Maybe some of you guys do readings yourselves and you guys might find some inspiration. He said, speaking of Scorpio, how would Pluto and Scorpio in the 1st house, Scorpio ascendant, be perceived in society? People either love you or they don't like you. There's no in between, okay? Pluto and Scorpio in the 1st house. It's like, it's this instant reaction, okay? And I find that the people that don't like you, they don't like you because they kind of want to be you. Do you know what I mean? That's sometimes danger zone with those types of people is really what it is. It's like you're basically a mirror, okay? That's how it works. Anytime you guys have Scorpio in your charts, Scorpio rising, Pluto in the 1st, okay? the karma, you can look at it as karma or like the energy here, like whatever way, shape, or form you guys want to look at it. The energy here is you are a mirror. You're reflecting back to people because this energy, whether it's aware of it or not, matches energy. Oh my gosh, so funny, you guys. Let me tell you another story. So, okay, how can I tell you guys this story? I'm going to try to be vague here, but long story short, okay, I have Scorpio, like I'm Scorpio dominant, okay? So Scorpio is my number one energy in my chart. So honestly, at this point in time, most things I let go, but sometimes some people, okay, if they catch me in a mood and like they're out of nowhere, just like coming at me energetically, like I most definitely am going to say something back. Like that's going to happen. Like I was way more intense when I was younger, you guys. Like I remember when I worked in retail, and it's just so fascinating that like they would just laugh at this like now in retrospect. So don't learn from my example. But anyways, it's just like how I was, I guess, and they just all accepted it. But anyways, like they would call me sassy because I would kind of like put customers in their place if they were like giving me attitude, if they were being weird. So if it comes from the other person, like I'm never gonna start the beef, but if you start the beef, like I'm gonna basically reciprocate it, right? So anyways, long story short, with this one individual, okay? Long story short, this one individual was trying to say to me that they're matching my energy. In my head, I'm like, what are you talking about? You're not matching my energy. Like, I'm matching your energy. Like, please. Okay. So that's how the Scorpio energy works. It's like you match the other person's energy. And it was so interesting when that person said that because I was like, this was a few months ago now, but in my head, I was like, what are you talking about? Like the only reason you're behaving this way is because of the Scorpio energy. But anyways, I didn't say that. I was just thinking in my head, I was like, this is so interesting that you're saying that you're matching my energy. I'm like, I'm matching your energy because this person, like the quote unquote position that they were in, they should not have been talking that way. Let me just kind of say it at that because I'm trying to keep the situation vague. When I say position, like, you know, where they work and so on and so forth. So anyways, that's my story about that. Oh yes, okay, let me continue showing you guys the rest of my oracle decks. Yes, I'll get to your questions in just a second, okay? So, okay, so I showed you guys my tarot. If you guys are just joining, you can rewatch the videos, okay, or the beginning of the video. I showed you guys my tarot. I showed you guys my angel answers deck, okay? I don't have the box for the angel answers, and then the tarot deck like never came in, you know, a little package thing, okay? So anyways, this is the package for my tarot deck, okay? So what I was saying earlier was I don't do readings anymore, like in terms of the cards, like for clients. I do it for my friends and I do it for my family and obviously for myself. Sometimes I look at the cards, right? In terms of oracle cards, you guys, and like tarot cards and all these things, it's a great way to learn to trust your intuition, but ultimately you kind of want to eventually take those training wheels off and really trust in the self, okay? So it's a good way to give you an idea or confirm what you're feeling. You guys never want to create a dependency with any tarot reader or oracle card reader and so on and so forth, okay? So those are my decks. Now here's another one, okay? So this is an oracle deck. This one I got recently actually because I really liked it. I got it on sale, okay? So this is called the Classical Mythology Oracle, and it's really, really cool, okay? What I really like about this one also came in like a really large box because look at how big this book is, right? But who has time for that? So I put it in another one of these little container package things, whatever they're called, okay? And these two, this is my angel answers deck. So these two, confirmation from whatever just fell, these two I got on Shein, actually, okay? So, by the way, this isn't sponsored, okay? I'm not representing anybody in this video. This is just for fun, okay? So this is the Classical Mythology Oracle. Okay, what I love about this one, it's like all of the Greek people, all of the Greek characters, and like a lot of the Greek characters are actually connected to astrology. So for example, Jupiter is connected to Sagittarius, which you guys, I'm sure you guys know, but it's also connected to Zeus, okay? And that's also then connected to Jesus, right? So in every realm, you kind of have the same characters playing out. And interestingly enough, speaking of Pluto energy, we have Hades here, okay, the god of the underworld. So Hades is Pluto, as some of you guys know. And this one, for those of you, if you're interested in, you know, learning more about the characters and so on and so forth, the book is also really, really good and all of this, okay? So it's interesting. At the bottom here it says, darkness, transformation, shadow, self. Like how appropriate, right? We were just talking about the Scorpio energy for that card to be at the bottom. So yes, I really like that deck, and that's one of the more recent ones that I got. And I found this one on sale, so like I had to buy it, you know? I love getting a good deal. So that is that one. Now let me show you guys the first oracle deck, okay? This is the OG. So if you guys are just tuning in now, this channel actually originated by me doing readings. So, okay, so this is how it all started. So I used to, okay, so I had my yoga mobile studio, and then I started doing the Reiki. I don't do any of that anymore, but I used to do that. And then the place where I did the Reiki, we started teaching classes, like to kind of bring people in, me and like the other people there, So I would do different classes and I would do kind of like a full moon circle. I also don't do that anymore. But anyways, so for the period of time that I was doing the full moon circle, I would pull cards for like the signs. And then eventually I was like, why don't I just put this online? So I did that. And then also under a lot of the things that I was teaching, I was like, why don't I just put that online instead of like teaching the same thing all the time, you know? So I could just like direct people to go and learn about all those things, okay? So this is, I think this one I got from the dollar store, this little container. I also took it out of the box. But this one is called, I'm trying to think, hold on, I think I have the little booklet in here too. I think it's Energy of the Oracle. Yes, I can't even show you guys the booklet because it's so old. But yes, the cards are called Energy Oracle cards. And these are the OGs, okay? And this is basically what I would do the majority of my readings and when I was just starting out with the readings, okay? So it's these ones. They're so cute. And look at that. We have the 6th chakra at the bottom, okay? So maybe one of you guys who's tuning into this right now has to clear your 3rd eye chakra, okay? Maybe there's something going on here for one of you guys with your 3rd eye chakra where you're not listening to your intuition. So that message is for whoever. Let me see what you guys are saying in here. Oh my gosh, Sue, hello. Hi, Sue. I haven't seen you in so long. What is new? What is the 411? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. And in the meantime, in between, I'm showing you guys my Oracle card collection. And there's a lot. So I'm sure throughout this live, I'll get through all of them. You said you agree, Scorpio being a mirror. Yeah, exactly. Remember back in the day, people would instantly like you or dislike you. Exactly. You're thinking to yourself, how in the world could they form such a quick opinion? Exactly. And it's like, because you're reflecting what they're feeling about themselves ultimately, okay? Is really what it is. So it's this with the Scorpio energy. I mean, it just is what it is. Ultimately, at the end of the day, like you're going to trigger people, right? As long as you're not going out of your way to intentionally hurt people, what can you do, right? People are going to be triggered. So it is what it is. You said you thought it was a Libra moon. I'm trying to think now. Okay, so anytime there's a new moon, it's in that sign, okay? So during Libra season, it's going to be the Libra new moon. And then the full moon is always the oppositional sign, okay? So during Libra season, there's going to be an Aries full moon, okay? So you're a little bit ahead in terms of the Libra new moon. But if we are in Virgo season, this new moon that just passed, I'm trying to think now because we just went into the Virgo. Maybe some of you guys know, because again, I don't really follow this as much anymore. I kind of try not to like follow the transits too much unless it like really stands out to me, especially the moons, because the moon changes like so often and so frequently. But let's say we were in the Virgo season and it was the new moon, it would be in Virgo, and then the full moon is going to be in Pisces, okay? So that's kind of how it always works with the moons. Hey, Susan, you're a Libra, how's it going? Okay, so I was a Virgo new moon. Yeah, so that's basically how they do it, okay? So during the season that it's in, the new moon is always the same sign. That's how you guys can remember, okay? So if we're in Virgo season, the new moon is always going to be Virgo, okay? And then the full moon is going to be Pisces. The next season, Libra, if you're in Libra season, okay, the new moon's going to be Libra. The full moon's going to be Aries, okay? When we go into Scorpio, the new moon's going to be Scorpio. The full moon's going to be Taurus. That's how you guys can basically learn it for yourselves, okay? How can Jupiter transiting the 8th house play out? That could be money through a spouse. It could be an inheritance. It could be basically like an investment or something of that sort takes off. Maybe something that you invested money into a while ago. It could be this. Okay, I'm going to continue with the Oracle cards, you guys. Okay, so next I have the past life deck, okay? So this is the past life deck. I've had this one for a while as well. It is by Doreen Virtue. Now the thing is, I had to get this one bootleg off of AliExpress because she no longer produces them or makes them because she found Jesus or whatever was going on with her. So this one I found bootleg on AliExpress. This would have been a few years ago now, so I don't know if it's still a thing. But I really wanted the past life deck, and then I just happened by accident to find it on AliExpress. So that's this one. And then there's another one of her decks that I have too, that I also got the bootleg version off of AliExpress. Same thing a few years ago, because after she, again, found Jesus or whatever was going on with her, she basically, like, I guess, stopped producing all of these or something of that sort took place. Again, don't quote me on this. It's just what I remember from, like, again, this would have been like maybe 5 years ago now. But yeah, so this is the life purpose deck. And this one is good too for those of you who are interested in knowing like what your life purpose is and so on and so forth. So that's that one. And then I have this one. Oh yes, this one I also, so when I discovered like the jackpot on AliExpress or just like the, what is it, the gold mine, I kind of went like a little bit wild and bought a few decks there. So I got this one called Shine, and that's all that I know about it. It's called Shine. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, you guys, the pictures on there give me weird vibes, so I don't really use this one anymore, and honestly, I'm not sure why I haven't donated it yet. Fun story. Okay, so when I first wanted to get into tarot, I was gonna go to a tarot class in the evening, and this was like all in person because this was back in the day. So I wanted to go to a tarot class in the evening, and then we had to bring like our own decks, but I literally was like just starting out. So like I went to the closest like metaphysical store, and the only tarot deck they had was like some Italian tarot deck where like the pictures literally were so creepy. Like, oh my goodness, like the pictures gave me literally the heebie-jeebies. I was like, what is going on with this? And honestly, if that person watches this video, like no disrespect to your art, it just, that was the vibe. So that's basically what's going on. And then whatever, I went to the class, and it was what it was. Like it was a fun, like, you know, connecting class to like meet the other people. But as soon as the class ended, I was like, I need to get rid of these cards like ASAP. And then after that, I actually got another tarot deck, and that one also gave me a weird vibe. And then finally got to the one that I have right now, which I showed at the beginning of this video. Hey everyone. I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. I'm also showing you guys my oracle card collection. Let's see, you said, how does 12th house moon conjunct the ascendant manifest? So you might be very descriptive in terms of your face. Like you can't hide how you feel. So you might have to work on that, okay? Michelle, I'm going back to your earlier questions. Basically like the energy, like you wear your heart on your sleeve. And it could be a struggle because moon being in the 12th, it's like a lot of your emotions could be subconscious. So like other people could hook into them before you do. I hope that makes sense, okay? Because it's on the ascendant, so it's literally going to show all the time. Okay, so you were asking about the eclipse. When you said 5th, are you talking about the eclipse that's going to be in Pisces? I'm just going based off of the information you guys gave me because I'm not sure if the eclipse is in Pisces because I don't look into it, so you guys can confirm. But yes, one of you guys said the eclipse is in Pisces. So let's say the eclipse is in Pisces and you have Pisces in the 5th house. What might be shown to you could be something maybe about your inner child, maybe something to do with love, dating, and relationships, something of this sort. Because an eclipse also, I'm trying to think, if it's in Pisces, that means it's going to be a full moon. So it's going to be some sort of completion, okay? Maybe it's a pattern, for example, when it comes to your relationships. Pisces in the 5th is a struggle because this energy is like the lover energy. Like this energy is very much all about like dreaming, wanting the one, wanting that ideal partner, like all these things, okay? So something about that could basically be brought to the surface for you, okay? You said, you know, this isn't a job interview, but if there was one thing metaphysically that I wish people remember my words, what would that be? Oh my goodness, that's such an interesting question. I'm sure that's going to change over time. Hey, Tommy, welcome back to the chat. I'm glad you found me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and make sure you guys like the video as well. That's like a question concerned. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I'd have to think about it because that's like, think about it this way. Like I have the 12th house non-committal energy in my chart. And like that's a huge commitment to be like remembered by one thing. Like, oh my goodness, I really have to think about that because it's going to have to be good, you know? But maybe let me know what stands out to you that I've told you guys. You said, how does it affect North Node in Pisces? Always check what house you guys have Pisces in. You said solar eclipse in Virgo. Okay, so that's the new moon. I have to look into the eclipses to see like what's going on. I don't want to give you guys the wrong information. But yes, okay, so I'm going to continue showing you guys my decks. Okay, so here's this one too. This one's called Sacred Destiny. As you guys can tell, it's like pretty new looking because I wasn't a fan of this deck for whatever reason. Honestly, it's like a vibrational thing. You know, sometimes I get the deck and I'm just kind of like, like there isn't really a connection there, you know, but I still would use it. Like I still did do readings with this one. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Patience. So maybe whoever's tuning into the video at this point needs some patience in their life. At the top, we have simplicity. So maybe that's the answer for why some of you guys need patience, or whoever is, you know, this message is resonating for. But yes, and this is basically the back of the deck here. I'm just putting it back into this box. So that's the back. Pretty picture. I mean, it's pretty. Like the deck is pretty. I just like, it's not my favorite. You know what I mean? There's no reason. I just would say there was never a connection established. And also, you guys, if you're playing around with any of these oracle cards, tarot cards, and all these things, make sure you guys close the circle, right? So you guys have to do either like a prayer or like a cleansing energy, anything of that sort, to make sure that the energy, or like when you're asking your question, that the answers that are coming through are for your highest good. Because sometimes there are trickster spirits, especially right now, okay? As we go into the higher frequencies, there's going to be little trickster spirits floating around, okay, trying to throw you off your path. And that's the struggle, okay? Because that's happening in the spirit world. You can't necessarily see them. So always make sure that like you know, you can say this in your mind. You do your prayer, you cleanse the energy, and then you think to yourself, okay, like, you know, make sure that all this information is for your highest good. If you're doing readings for the highest good of all, whatever it is, you guys will develop your own little ritual if you guys ever do readings, because you never know who's going to be looming around energetically. And here's the thing too, like, this is what I was mentioning earlier as well. Ultimately, you want to get in tune with your own intuition and just use these tools to confirm and validate your intuition. Okay, you never want to be dependent. You don't want to create a codependent relationship, which I find a lot of people have, okay, currently with readers, especially when it comes to love readings. But that's just my own opinion. Is October my favorite month? I like fall overall. You mentioned once that some of my younger family members learned metaphysics from you. No, I wouldn't really say that. You said, are they still pursuing that generationally? I wouldn't say they're like directly learning it. It's not like I'm teaching them. I'm just kind of like planting the seed, if that makes sense. Like my younger family members, like some of them, you know, when they were like really small, like kids, I would kind of show them the crystals, and then I would be like, oh, you know, like if you sleep with this crystal, like you're gonna have like a nice dream, or we would like meditate together or things like that. Do you know what I mean? I taught them about the pendulum and they remembered. It's wild how kids remember things. Okay. So I'm trying to think, like maybe they weren't that young. Maybe they were like, let's say like 6 or 7. I showed them, like I wrote on a piece of paper, you know, yes, no, and like I was like, okay, when it goes like this, it means yes, and whatever. Exactly what I was saying to you guys. I was like, okay, make sure you cleanse the energy, like all these things, and then ask your question. And then one time when they came over, they found the pendulum and they were doing it themselves, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Like, how did you guys remember that? Yes, exactly, crystals. You said because Halloween is that more spiritual? Yes, definitely. The veil is very thin around Halloween. Venus opposite Pluto synastry, possessiveness. It depends. Okay, with the Pluto synastry, you guys, it always depends how evolved everybody is in the story, okay, with the Venus and Pluto. Because it's like, if you're Plutonian and you're used to the energy and so is the other person, you're going to be looking unconsciously or consciously for Plutonian relationships because it's going to bring through depth. If you're not evolved, or if the other person isn't evolved, it's going to be a lot of scapegoat energy, a lot of blaming the other person, and all of these things, okay? So it depends, okay? It depends what's going on with the two people. But yes, like Venus, Pluto, it's like, it's the lock, right? I talk about this vortex, the Plutonian relationship. When you get sucked into the Plutonian dynamic, you're locked in basically until whatever is cleared between the two people gets cleared, okay? And this is why these relationships can get toxic, because of the possessive nature of Pluto. It's like it could be time for it to end, but one or both of the parties don't want to let go of the other person. So it turns into like this, I call it energetic ping pong energy. One person tries to move on, the other person's energetically pulling you. It's intense. Honestly, it is definitely intense. Yes, exactly. It was crystals I was showing them. I am back. You said lunar eclipse, Pisces, September 7th. Okay, perfect. We got the information. Thank you so much. So there's a lunar eclipse in Pisces, September 7th. So that's the full moon, I'm guessing. And then solar eclipse, Virgo, September 21st. So that's the new moon, I'm guessing. So the new moon that just passed by then wouldn't have been, or was it in Virgo? That's the only thing that I'm just wondering, because there was a new moon that just happened. So then that one might have been in Leo. That's what I'm trying to figure out. But anyways, regardless, you guys, whatever is going on, okay, in terms of the transits, check and see what house do you have that placement in, okay? So for Pisces lunar eclipse, okay, that's going to be the full moon. Check and see where do you have Pisces in your chart, okay? Something's going to be eclipsed, something's going to be shown to you. And don't like freak out and don't worry, okay? Because honestly, like, you just want to get to the point where it's like it just bounces off of you energetically. Do you know what I mean? You're like, okay, next, you know? That's the thing with the energies. But until that point, things are going to keep coming to the surface. And that's the way that I see it. You said 0 degree Virgo. Oh, so it's 2 Virgo new moons. So there's 2 Virgo new moons? Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to continue showing you guys my oracle cards. So can you guys confirm, was it 2 Virgo new moons? So one at the beginning of the month when we went into Virgo, and now there's going to be another one? Okay, so here's another deck that I also kind of was like meh about. You know what I mean? Okay, and I'll answer your question in just a second. I'm showing you guys my oracle collection and answering your questions. So if you guys are just joining in, feel free to message below your questions. So this oracle deck is called Oracle of the 7 Energies. Again, you know, something that I was kind of like meh about. You know, it's not something that really stood out to me. It was kind of like also kind of later in my journey, so I was kind of like over it already. But it's interesting because there's like a channel on TV back in the day that had this like a logo that looks like this, so it always like connects me to that. But yeah, so this one's really pretty too. Look at the art. Okay, that's the thing about this deck. Like the art is really, really pretty, you guys. Like look at that. Okay, and by the way, this is not a sponsored video. I just kind of felt like showing you guys because I was like, oh my gosh, look at all these cards. Endless possibilities. Like just look at the art. It's just so gorgeous. Okay, so that's Oracle of the Seven Energies deck. Okay, so that is that one. Next, okay, this is another one of my OGs. Okay, I can't show you the cover because it's just that old, but I'll show you the cards. It's called Chakra Insight Oracle. I used to use this one a lot in my readings back in the day too. Okay, I don't do readings for clients anymore, but I do them so for friends and family, if you guys are just tuning in now. So that's what the cover looks like too. I'm just not showing the cover because it's so old and dusty, but basically it's this. The book is kind of like looks untouched, right? Because the thing is, like, I never would really read it too much, like, especially when I was starting out. I would, like, for some of them, but then eventually just started kind of like going intuitively, right? Unless I felt called to look at the book, or these days when I send it to my friends, sometimes I feel called to send them the meaning in the book. Otherwise, I just send them the picture, okay? So even this one, okay, there's a lot of crown. Actually, this one would be third eye. There's a lot of third eye like activity taking place with all these cards with the decks, like the cards that are showing, because another one earlier was like the sixth chakra. So it's this, okay? So that's kind of what they look like. They're kind of like very human-like. This is what they look like at the back with the chakras. And then also they're all kind of like color-coded for that particular chakra, okay? So this is seeing, perspective, truth, knowledge, clarity. So I guess a lot of people are going to be seeing the truth during these eclipses, speaking of the eclipse, okay? I was back in the day, you guys, tarot, oracle. I don't do it for clients anymore, but I did used to do readings. I had so many different types of readings. I did past life readings. I did all kinds of readings. That's actually what started my YouTube channel, were the readings, but it wasn't something that I pursued long-term. I just moved into astrology afterwards. Oh gosh, Tiffany, hey, how are you doing? What is new? How was your whole situation from way back when we talked last time? Yeah, no, there's no pausing over here. Virgo new moon. Okay, so there's double Virgo. So that happens sometimes too. So double Virgo. So we have the Virgo new moon. You guys are confirming. And then there's also the Virgo eclipse. You said the second one's going to be at 28 or 29 degrees. Okay, so that makes sense. So there's two Virgo new moons that are taking place. Okay, moving on to, this is another one of my favorite decks. And by the way, if you're just tuning in now, not sponsored, I just thought it was gonna be fun to show you guys all my cards. Maybe some of you guys are readers out there and you guys are looking for inspiration for new decks. Maybe some of you guys have these decks already. But yes, this is another one of my OGs. So from like back in the day when I used to do readings for people, this is called Work Your Light, but I would always call it the Light Workers deck back then. These cards, I don't know, I just think because it was one of like the OGs, I just like love it that much. The art is super pretty on it too, okay? So this is kind of what it looks like from the back, and then from the front, these are kind of like the pictures, okay? We have this one, really, really pretty. And then just like every other deck, it comes with a booklet. So I really, really like this deck. And then also from the same author, I got her other deck, okay? That was later on too, later on, so I didn't use it as much. But again, you know, sometimes, again, for friends and family, I would do it. This one's called the Starseed Oracle deck, okay? I got that one, and very similar concept. Like, I guess these two work together. I'm just trying to see who did the artwork on this one. Yeah, so it looks like these two individuals work together with like the deck and then the pictures. The pictures are really pretty. This one's a little bit more crowny. For those of you who have just joined my channel, crowny is like a term that I use like when you're like super in your crown chakra and like not grounded, essentially. But yeah, like the pictures and like the messages over here are like more crowny, okay? So for example, this one says surrender to the sweetness, Venus energy, pleasure, joy, make love to life. Okay, so maybe that's a message for one of you guys out there. But yeah, the pictures are like super, super pretty, okay? Super, super pretty. Like, look at this one. It says, wait, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. Hope you guys can see because there's a little bit of a reflection going on there. So, so cute. So yes, this one was nice, and I really like the artwork overall, like from this author. And I think this author has maybe another deck that I never ended up buying because I kind of got over that phase then. Hey, Asafor, how are you doing? You said, what's more accurate, whole sign or Placidus? I do Placidus tropical. That's what I do my readings in. You said your opinion for whole sign for transits and Placidus for natal personal interpretation. Okay. That's someone, okay, so you're answering the other person. Yeah, honestly, like, I think it depends on your chart. I think it depends what's going on in your chart. Some people also like, for example, Vedic. Some people like Placidus. Somebody was asking me about Vedic earlier, and one of the earlier questions as well. I think I get that question quite frequently, like Vedic or Placidus. To be honest, you guys, like, I've done my natal chart readings, like, from other people in all the systems. I've done Vedic, I've done the Babylonian one, I've done Vedic and whole sign Vedic and Placidus. And even in Placidus, the Vedic still resonated more for me compared to the whole sign. So I find that Vedic is very much focused on relationships and marriage partners, like their version of synastry. So I think that Vedic is very good for that, for example. So I don't know. I think there's truth to everything, you know? So it's hard to say because it's like, I feel like all of these things are accessible to us for a reason, you know, so we can learn more about ourselves, but not kind of get stuck on one thing, I guess. But if you're going to practice astrology, you still have to see what resonates with your chart more and then use that to basically help other people, I guess, with their natal charts, right? Yeah, exactly. So they use Vedic a lot for marriages. Exactly. So I find that like Vedic is very, very good for that. And then you said in your experience, Placidus is more accurate for your natal placement. There you go. I feel like between Placidus and a whole sign, I think that this is just my theory because I feel like for some people, the time might not be exactly accurate. So that's why maybe one or the other could resonate or both. Because when I see times of birth where it's like 8 p.m., 7:45, 8:15, you know what I mean? Where it's like kind of rounded, 9:30. Like I kind of feel like that was rounded. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, is that the exact time of birth? So you can always go to an astrologer who does chart rectification and they can look at your chart and tell you, okay, you know, based on your life experiences, maybe they give you a rectified time of birth as to, depending on what's going on, okay, in terms of your natal charts. And that's not something that I do, but yeah, there's people out there who do it. Hey, Angela, how are you doing? Maria, you had a question. Let me see. You said, what house do you have Pisces in, by the way? You said you're just finishing a progression in your chart, Moon conjunct Saturn in the 8th house. Oh, that's intense. Conjunct Saturn too at the 29th degree. Oh my gosh, that must have been a lot of shadow work and work, okay? Moon conjunct Saturn, like basically you were kind of like probably working a lot. Maybe you were even working from home. You said, in my past, if I met a guy I liked and then I found out his sign didn't match with what works with my sign, is that a game changer? It depends with the whole synastry. Do you know what I mean? Because there's red flags in synastry. So now that I know more, like if I just look at the sun sign, that's not really going to tell me much. I mean, it'll still tell me something, right, about the person, but you want to look at the synastry and see what is going on between the two people. So it's hard to say based off of one thing, okay? And honestly, like the cultures back in the day who used to do, and some people actually still do this, they still go to astrologers for their marriages, and sometimes they still do arranged marriages based on the astrology. So it's really interesting because one of my friends was telling me that in her natal chart, apparently it said that her first marriage was going to be a divorce. So basically what they did was they like married her to a plant. So that's technically like the first marriage. So I found that to be like so interesting. So then the second marriage is like successful. So it's this. So in some cultures, right, like I can see why they looked at the astrology because, again, it comes down to synastry and like you can either activate good things or bad things between two people, right? Sometimes, you know, you coming together with another person is going to activate abundance. You know what I mean? And sometimes it could activate a deficit, okay? So if you're interested in knowing, you'd have to check and see what's going on with the whole natal chart. You've been getting in trouble with your communication with friends. Could it be the current Uranus and Gemini conjunct your Chiron and Gemini? Any thoughts? It could be that, but it could have also been maybe the Mercury retrograde. It was Mercury retrograde. What house, Angela, do you have Gemini in? I'm curious to know what house do you have Gemini in, and is Uranus transiting that house? You said, yeah, one of the magazines said only the sun sign. Yeah, the sun sign was the only thing that matters. I know, and I still hear mixed things about that. Like I still hear people talking about how important the sun sign is. Other people say that you know, you don't have to focus on the sun sign. Like the sun sign is your ego, it's your identity, it's your sense of self. Like I don't think, in my opinion, if you ask me, like I don't think there's one thing that's more important than another one in a natal chart. Like it all kind of comes together, you know? And usually when I look at someone's natal chart, like it just jumps out at me what's going on in there. So it could be something unexpected in the natal chart that, you know, is kind of taking over the show, if that makes sense. Because in the chart, I can see where you're trying to go, but I can also see what holds you back. And by the way, if you guys want your own natal chart reading, synastry reading, progress natal chart reading, mini natal chart reading, or mini synastry reading, send me an email, you guys, okay? You can go on my website, you select the readings tab, an email window should pop up, send me an email, and we'll go from there. You said Gemini is in your 7th, but your Chiron, Gemini, is in the 6th, along with your moon and Gemini. I'm curious to know what house is Uranus transiting. Is Uranus transiting your 7th, or is it now transiting your 6th first and then going into the 7th? I'm curious to know. You were going to ask about communication issues as well. For whatever reason, whatever placement. Oh, you're experiencing that as well. Yeah, it must be. It must be the Mercury retrograde, but it could be Uranus and Gemini for people as well. I mean, I could see that happening too. Let's see, what else were you guys saying up here? You said, so if you have a Jupiter in the 2nd house in Placidus, should you just believe that? Okay, you were asking somebody else that question. I'm just going back up to see what I may have missed when I was showing you guys my Oracle card collection. You said Uranus in the 6th transit with Gemini. It could have been the Mercury retrograde. You said absolutely. It's a mix of all of our natal chart energies. You were just being, hello George, how are you doing? I'm answering astrology questions, metaphysical questions, questions about your natal charts. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. You said you were just being funny about how they depreciated astrology in the 60s. Of course they did. Of course they did, to kind of numb everybody down, I guess. But it's also like during that period of time, you know, for people who grew up during that period of time, like basically like boomers 1 and boomers 2, like things were fine. Do you know what I mean? Like they were able to work within the system and still have a somewhat positive outcome. So I think they just didn't care about anything outside of that. But right now we're literally going through like societal collapse, allegedly, in my own opinion. So like everything's coming to the surface, right? Like people are looking for answers and they want to know why things are going down, right? And the only natural explanation to that is astrology, things in the sky, the energies, like the metaphysical world is really what it is. And it's like every ancient civilization believed in astrology. Like they all have something to do with the stars, you know what I mean? And then we all got brainwashed with the religions. Don't get me started on that. And, you know, kind of sucked everyone into this like vacuum. And it's like also during this period of time, we have more access to information, right? Back then it was easier to allegedly brainwash people because, you know, you would just watch one program on TV, that was your entertainment, and then you'd go off and just go to work the next day and everyone was just like, you know, very much don't worry darling. Like that was kind of like the vibe. Yeah, I showed you guys my Oracle decks. Angela, yes, go and check. I've been kind of like showing them in between. I still have more. I've got more to go because I'm answering the questions. I'm showing you guys the decks because I realized that, oh, you want me to get started on the religious programming? Okay, I'll get started. That will be my next tangent. Yes, I started showing you guys my Oracle decks. I don't use them anymore because I don't do readings anymore for clients, but I still do them for like friends and family. Sometimes I pull cards for myself, but honestly, the only cards that I really use right now are my tarot cards. I use my yes and no cards. Like those are the main two. And sometimes the past life deck. So when I'm traveling, those cards come with me and that's it. But there's some good decks in here that I completely forgot about. I'm leaving my current, like I guess, favorites for last to show you guys those ones, okay, that I just recently rediscovered. So I'll show you guys this next deck here. This next deck is called Magical Messages from the Fairies Oracle cards, okay? Another one by Doreen, okay? And this is another bootleg version. That's why they're so tiny, because this is a bootleg version off of AliExpress, okay? I'm not advertising anything, you know, and the whole reason I got the bootleg version was because she stopped producing her cards when I wanted to buy her cards, you know, because she found Jesus, speaking of religious programming. She denounced everything, again, allegedly from the story that I know. Okay, but from what I remember, like when I went on her website, everything was like, this is demonic, that's demonic, this is demonic, that's demonic. It's like, here's the thing, okay? It's like there's dark energies down here, of course, but it's like if you, and this has nothing to do with her, by the way, this is just for anyone who talks about these things and they say that these things are demonic. It depends what you're doing with the thing, right? These are literally pictures on a piece of paper, okay? Is really what it is. So it's like if you have bad intentions, if you're gonna go around snooping, trying to get into other people's business, if you're ego driven, if you're gonna try to scam people, like basically if you're operating out of your lower chakras, yeah, you're gonna operate or you're gonna open portals for dark energies to come through. Like same thing, one of you guys was asking about the Ouija board. Like the Ouija board, you know, I think opens dark energy, like dark portals, because there's probably some kind of dark energy connected to it. And then people who are kids most of the time like stumble upon these things and then they open up like this whole energy and then they start playing with that, right? It's like when you're going to work with any form of divination, and I spoke about this in my psychic videos, like how to get in tune with your psychic gifts and abilities, and that's what I was saying in the earlier part of this video as well, okay? It's like you have to close the space, right? And that's the same thing with anything that anybody does, but most people aren't aware that they kind of just like jump into this world or to discover it, and then all of a sudden it's like they feel like, you know, these dark energies are coming through all these things. It's like, it's not that, it's just like you either haven't cleansed the space, you haven't done the proper prayer and all these things, and if you feel like you can't, then don't dabble into any of this. Do you know what I mean? And you have to have discernment, and basically ultimately you should be using these things to confirm your intuition so you don't have to use them anymore, okay? So you can wean yourself off of these things. That's kind of like the end goal ultimately here, okay? But there's a lot of knowledge in a lot of these things, like the tarot. Even if you're not going to read for people, it would be good to learn about it and to learn what each card means, because in the tarot we also have what, you know, the star signs are, for example, right? Like for example, Scorpio is going to be the death card and all these things, okay? Sagittarius is going to be temperance. So there's so much information in there, you know what I mean? Especially if you're into like the esoteric world and all of these things, like you can learn a lot, okay? Yeah, no, that's just what it is with divination tools. People don't know how to use them, and then here's the thing, like this is what I'm gonna say for anything. When people start talking about like this is demonic, that's demonic, and same thing when people use quote unquote plant medicine, that's a whole different tangent. I talk about that on my threads, you guys. I go off, okay? Because now that's becoming mainstream and everyone all of a sudden thinks they're a shaman. And it's like you go to this person who's inexperienced, they don't know how to close the space, you do the substance and you leave your body and you come back home filled with dark entities. And that's because of the fact that the person who was supposed to cleanse the space didn't close it properly. They don't know what they're doing. They're ego driven, okay? Like why are you like charging $3,000 for a retreat to $10,000? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like because that person's operating out of their lower chakras, it's just like a whole thing. Do you know what I mean? And then people aren't going for the right reasons and all of these things, like all of these things, I understand how it can be used for the divine version, but how it can be used for the shadow version. But if you're not prepared and you don't understand any of this, basically what I'm saying, then don't do it. Basically is what it is, okay? I'm like, don't dabble into it. Just do your own thing, you know? Because it's like, you need to have strong solar plexus, strong, like, identifying energy. Do you know what I mean? Like, intuition, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Like, to pick up on the energy, to know that it's dark energy that's coming through, you know, like you need to use these things to confirm what you're thinking and what you're feeling, maybe to get an idea or insight, but that's it, okay? You shouldn't be dependent on these things, on any readers, on anybody, okay, to tell you this is what's going to happen. That's why I stopped doing any sort of predictions, predictive readings, all these things, okay? Because I found that, especially back then, so I was doing these types of readings, like I started my channel October 2019, and then early October 2020, I was still, or not early October 2020, early 2020, okay? I was still doing all of these readings and so on and so forth. And I just found that people were codependent, you know? First of all. Second of all, I found that, you know, people just want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want the truth. And I can't do that. Like, I'm not going to sell you hopium. I'm going to tell you what I'm picking up on. You know what I mean? So that's just what it is. So anyways, I don't do any of these readings anymore. But yes, if you're interested in an astrology reading, natal chart reading, I still do that, yes. You said, okay, that was very well said about the boomer generation and how people are questioning things more. That's probably also a good question to your earlier question about what words you want to leave. Good with people. Yeah, even therapy is good in that regard. Everyone eventually realizes that they're the captain of their own lives. That's the ultimate end goal. You want to come into your full self-alignment and your full truth, okay? You said you've been studying Vedic astrology for the last couple of months. It changed your perception using invisible planets in natal chart readings since they have very impersonal generational energy. That's interesting. What are my thoughts on that? I'm going to screenshot that because I haven't heard about that before, but I'll definitely look into it and then get back to you. Okay, so for the religious programming, yeah. So the religious programming is just another energy siphon, okay? Just like every other programming, allegedly, my opinion, I have to say that, right? It's a siphon, because here's the thing. I just don't understand people who don't use their brain and don't understand why they're doing what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, okay, so they're going to tell you do this because the book says this. But then it's like, have you never wondered why? Like, why are you doing that? Like, I can kind of justify certain things that people explain in these religious texts, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me why they're doing that. But there's other things, that's why it's two truths and a lie. There's other things in there where you're like, where did you get this from? Like, how did you come to this conclusion? So that's what happens. And here's the struggle. I talk about this on my cards, you guys, too, okay? And this is a little bit more metaphysical, maybe a little bit more advanced. But the thing is, and the struggle with religion is because they mix in two truths and a lie, and this is happening with the New Age too, okay? Because the New Age is kind of becoming the new religion. Oh, and the other thing I want to tell you guys, I'm going to write about this on my threads too, okay? So this is really interesting. So you know how a lot of people talk about the anti-C? I can't say the whole word, anti-C. And that went around, like the birth chart for the anti-C. You can type it into Google, birth chart for the anti-C. And it's interesting because a bunch of Aquarius planets in the 12th house. So what I've been thinking about is every time that they want to bring in through a new religion, quote unquote, they bring through some sort of anti-C so they can kind of destruct all the old religions, okay? And basically be like, okay, none of this was, you know, true, or all the prophecies were fulfilled. So now we can start from zero. Allegedly, my opinion, okay? So that's the whole thing with the whole anti-C story, blah, 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 whatever, okay? So they usher that in, and then they're going to bring in their whole new religion, which they're already trying to do. So kind of what they've been doing, okay, this is a little bit more metaphysical, but what they've been doing is like they're actually energetically, this is energetically happening behind the scenes, like they're energetically altering the timelines, right? So when they're energetically altering the timelines, they're basically altering people's perception of reality. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to anchor in the whole AI agenda, allegedly, my opinion, tech, and all these things. So they want people worshiping an AI god, ultimately, right? They also want, allegedly, like the next president, okay? I hope you guys are following, like the next leader person at the top, okay? To basically be an AI person, and that's just my opinion, allegedly, okay? So because that's their goal, they need to usher in this whole new like plan and whole new agenda, right? So basically they have to disrupt all of the old programming and blah, 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 and all these things to usher this new thing in, okay? So with that being said, that's why they bring through like this like whole, how can I say this? Because I'm kind of trying to speak between the lines on here. But yeah, so anyways, then what they do is they're like altering the timelines. Like they mess with people's memories and like they, okay, you know the Mandela effect? That's what they do. So they kind of do that to like see if you're going to catch on to something that they've adjusted. So what they have been adjusting is the whole concept of the reality that we're in. They're trying to make it seem like we're actually in a simulation and this is actually like a computer program and all these things. So people actually start worshiping the AI God. I really, really hope that makes sense. So anyways, that's my story about that. Good to know. Yeah, exactly. I just saw some guy online on the Clock app talking about how he is at a job where everybody is an AI except him. And then the video that I saw was they brought in another human and then he's like tripping because he's like, I don't know if this is a real human or not. And then the next update, I guess, is going to be if they end up doing a FaceTime call. I don't know if some of you guys have seen that. Maybe if you guys like search it, you'll see him talking like on the chat to the person being like, are you a real human? Like, you know, all these things. But yeah, so I just found that to be really interesting. So it's just going to be really interesting. And like the whole reason for that, okay, I'm so glad that it makes sense. And the whole reason for that is because they ultimately want to permanently like trap people down here on this like whatever this realm is. Like I can't even be positive about it, but yeah, like down here in like this like intense realm, right? So they kind of want to trap everyone. They kind of like want to basically upload everyone's consciousness into a computer. I mean, in a way it's already happening if you think about it, but like they ultimately want to trap the energy down here, right? So I feel like, and it's just my own opinion, allegedly, like at this point in time, we're at a point in time where we have this opening to exit, okay, the realm, okay, so we don't incarnate again. Going back to one of you guys asking me earlier how to not reincarnate again, okay, so we have to figure out how to not reincarnate again, okay, and kind of leave them to do that with the people who, I guess, conform to that. I guess that's all that I can say about this. So yeah, so anyways, that's connecting back to the religions and all of that. It's a specific type of programming, okay? You said, do I know a channel to study numerology or gematria? No, I used to know some back in the day, but a lot of them actually got taken down. I really enjoyed gematria back then. Yeah, exactly. So they can suck the energy. So they can basically like use people as, again, allegedly like batteries to power the system, okay? Because they need our energy to power the system is really what it is. So that's the way that I see the quote unquote game and kind of what's happening at this point in time. Anyways, back to my oracle cards. Okay, so I showed you guys my bootleg version, okay, of the messages from the fairies. Oh, I didn't show you a picture of that one. Yeah, no, exactly. So it's a matter of like, that's what I feel like the game is at this point in time. It's a matter of figuring out how to not reincarnate again, okay? Yeah, we are definitely in the shadow period of the age of Aquarius, but listen, we were also in the shadow period of the age of Pisces. So it's like, people out here being like, oh, we're going to New Earth. Like, you know, some people are like, oh, like the ETs are going to come and save us. Like everyone has this like savior mentality. And I just don't think that that's what's going to happen. I just think that at this point in time, we just have to figure out how to not reincarnate again. Like that's where I'm at right now. Maybe that'll change in the future, but it's this, okay? So yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think people are hopeful. I guess it's the hopium, because it's like, people talk about the divine version of Age of Aquarius and like the 1,000 years of peace and all these things. But I'm like, I don't know, at this point in time, it's not looking promising. Like, I'm just realistic. Like, that's all I can say. And it's like, what about the age of Pisces? Like, what was divine about the age of Pisces? Like, we were in the shadow of the age of Pisces the entire time. Like, they were literally burning witches during the age of Pisces, all the religions, all the things, like the siphoning on the feminine energy. Like, that was all the age of Pisces. So now we're going into the age of Aquarius. So it's just kind of like pattern recognition. You know what I mean? Like, what's going to be different during the age of Aquarius? Or is the whole thing like just understanding that it's just always going to be that way down here and to not reincarnate again? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Okay, next. So the next cards, okay, so the fairies, okay, messages from the fairies, that's what it looks like from the back, and this is the front, okay? This one says summer. Everything that you're asking for becomes yours in the summertime, okay? So we are currently in the summer, so maybe that's what's gonna happen for some of you guys. Also, if you're new to the chat, make sure you double tap the screen to like the live. Thank you so much, you guys. Obviously, if you so choose to, okay? Okay, the next one's, this is, oh my gosh, Lena, hey! How are you guys doing? No, I'm not using cards. I just wanted to show you guys my old decks, okay? Because it's like a collection at this point, like it's collectibles, you know what I mean? I'm not ready to give them away or anything of that sort. No, I don't answer any predictive questions or any predictive astrology. For your exam, you must study, okay? So I can't tell you if you're gonna pass or not, but yeah. No, I'm not using the cards. I'm just showing you guys, like, thank you so much for the likes, you guys. I'm showing you guys the cards in case you guys use cards and maybe you're inspired or like you want to look at new ones. This is not sponsored. I just thought it was going to be a fun video because I saw these and I was like, let's just do something different today, okay? So this next deck is Divine Abundance, okay? This one is another one of those decks that, okay, maybe I'll pull a card for one of you guys or for the general collective after, okay? After I finish showing you guys all my decks. So this one also I got toward the end. I wasn't particularly, again, drawn to it. Like I bought it, obviously, right? But, you know, it's just kind of like there, you know? It was kind of like at the point where I was like, oh, let me get a new one. Let me see what else there is and so on and so forth, okay? So this one's good because this one doesn't come with a booklet and the description is like at the bottom of the cards for those of you who don't like reading like myself, okay, who don't have the patience for that. But all the other ones pretty much had booklets, okay? Not all of them, but the majority of them have booklets, okay? So this is the deck. This is how it looks on the back. And on the front here, it says extraordinary, okay? There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored, okay? So maybe that is the message for you guys today, okay? Whoever's tuning in at this point in the live. So that's the Divine Abundance deck, okay? Oh my gosh, yeah, as before, I was talking about the eclipses. It took a while to figure out what sign the eclipses were in because honestly, I try not to follow these things until like it gets brought to my attention, okay? Yeah, exactly. Jesus was in the age of Pisces. That's what I'm trying to say. So at the beginning of every new age, okay, they bring in something to destruct the old belief systems to bring in the belief. Does that make sense? So the whole way the religions and all these things started was during the age of Pisces. So there was probably some version of an NTC back then, whatever it was, and then they brought in that. Does that make sense? And then the religion and all these things was used as a means of control. Like obviously in there, okay, you have, yes, the zodiac, yes, you have numerology and all these things, but it's like it was so hidden. Nobody was believing those things. Like religious people are going to say to you that these things are demonic, okay? Which, you know what? There could be some truth to that. There could be some truth to that, okay? Because of the fact that this Earth plane is actually ruled by Satan, aka Saturn. But anyways, should I get into that today? Should I really get into that today? Okay, concerned, keep in mind if there is any deck that stands out to you at the end. You said a guy on Coast to Coast AM the other night was talking about the King's Templar. I heard about that too. You said it was interesting and it was the opposite of what you thought about the Knights Templar. Are they bending the timeline? They keep changing it. They keep changing it. They keep changing the memories. You guys will see this happening more and more. I don't want to like throw you guys off or like mind if you guys, because you actually have to have a certain amount of mental strength to like understand what's going on. So if it doesn't resonate, just like exit, you know what I mean? The seed has been planted, like exit the thought. I mean, you know, the seed has been planted, maybe at some future date it's going to resonate, but that is what's happening. They're like slowly like changing the timeline. So we're going into this like strange time of like the next quote unquote God or like thing is going to be AI, in terms of like worshiping AI. There's going to be like an AI president and all these things, allegedly, in my opinion. So yeah. Yeah. You looked up the NTC birth chart. Exactly. NTC birth chart, Aquarius in the 12th house, and this person apparently is still around. So, but here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. Because that birth chart apparently was channeled. Okay. And from what I read online, I could be wrong, it was channeled from an individual who I also think is a plant. So I'm just like, is this information accurate? But I found that really interesting that all of their placements are in Aquarius, because to me, it just connected me to basically this person ushering in the future AI agenda. Like, I hope that, like, maybe I'm wrong, but that's kind of what I'm picking up on at this point in time. It coincides with the age of Aquarius, because it's like, we're going to go, hold on a second. Okay, I'm back. There was just some noisiness happening outside, so I just wanted to not have to scream over that. You said they want us to L-edge. What do you mean by L-edge? You said, which is not even a reality. It coincides with the age of Aquarius, because with all of the ages, you have the divine version of what that could be, and then you have the shadow version. And that kind of what the rant I was going on was, if we were in the shadow of the age of Pisces, is it promising to think that we're going to be in the divine version of the age of Aquarius? Like, I hope so. Like, I want to be optimistic, you know? You said Aquarian age has to reckon its relationship with technology. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. You said, Barbara, hey, Tiffany, you said from your Mars to your Pluto, all are retrograde. Oh my God. You said even your North Node. Okay, North Node is retrograde for everybody. You said, is it rare? What kind of challenges? Yes, I know someone who has a bunch of retrograde in their chart. Basically, I call this a retrograde stellium. I don't know if that's a term out there, but basically what this means is that, the way that I see it, okay, is that it's kind of like a do-over lifetime for you. You're coming back to do it again. I have a video on here where I talk about what retrograde means in a natal chart if you want to know for each of the placements, okay? And that should be under my miscellaneous playlist. But I'm sure if you search my name and you type in retrograde placements, it's going to come up. Yeah, there's so many plants. So many plants. You said absolutely, because the Bible was written by those exactly who understood numerology and astrology, but they also took out a lot of information. Like, they took out all the women, basically, and they made them all to either be like super pure or super not pure. Like, what's that all about? That's the issue with religion. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the way that I see it is, it was actually ultimately all supposed to be a metaphor, okay? Ultimately, it's all supposed to be a metaphor, like all of it in there. And it was all twisted for the whole shadow patriarchy agenda, okay? Allegedly, in my opinion. It's not even a real patriarchy, guys. Like, it's not a real patriarchy. It is a shadow patriarchy, because if it was a real patriarchy, it would be all about protecting women and children, okay? But it's like, everything is inverted down here. Everything is inverted and everything is backwards. Like, we're literally living in some kind of like weird upside down situation when you start to see what's actually going on. But if you don't, I mean, that's blessed. It's nice to live in that. Yes, you can ask questions. Absolutely. Feel free to comment below. Okay, in the meantime, I'm going to show you guys the next deck. So this is also one of my OG decks, but interestingly enough, I didn't really use this one a lot, because I don't know why, honestly. Like, I did it first and then I kind of just like moved on to my other decks, but still love it. The art on here is gorgeous. This one is called Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards. These are super, super pretty. The art is also super, super pretty. I'll show you guys, okay? The art on here. For example, hold on a second. Everything here is upside down. For example, look at this one. We have Peacekeeper, let go of the need to be right, okay? Maybe that's a message for one of you guys out there. Then we have Father Sky, trust in the unknown. Like, look at the pictures. Like, they are so pretty. The art on these is really, really pretty. Speaking of Oracle, there's one here called Oracle. It says, wait for important information, okay? And this is the back. I'm not sure if I showed you guys, but it's really pretty. The back. It kind of gives me Harry Potter vibes, the back, but it's really, really pretty overall. So that's that one. Then I have another one here called Moonology Oracle cards. I like this one too. I mean, I use this one. A lot of these, like, I would say I was like, toward the end, I think I was just kind of like buying them because I just wanted new cars and just to like have, you know, like more options, I guess you could say. But yeah, so Moonology, this is also another one of the ones I would say I'm pretty neutral about too, but also really pretty. It's all about the moon and the moon phases. So here it says it's a time to give rather than take. New moon in Virgo. Oh my goodness. Do you guys see these synchronicities? It's just wow. We were just talking about the new moon in Virgo. There's 2 of them, by the way. We just came to that conclusion. Okay. So yeah, it kind of goes through all of those and it kind of gives you a little bit of a blurb. This one also has a booklet and so did the other one, okay? Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon. So that's that. I'm trying to think, did we just have the Blue Moon, you guys? Because that would be interesting if that came out too. So that is that one. You said, yeah, exactly. You said Aquarius energy is about progressing and humanitarian pursuits, but we're going the opposite of it now. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. So I'm just like, is it promising to think that it's going to go in a positive direction? I'm not sure. Okay, the next deck. So this is for all the people out there wondering about their, you know, lover or their partner or like what's going on and what's the 411 like for the love readings out there. It's called a Hidden Truth Oracle. Okay. So this one, I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. Okay. It's going to tell you like, you know, you ask a question, what is this person thinking about or whatever. If you're doing a reading for someone, what are their feelings and so on and so forth. Okay. And then it's going to give you some messages at the bottom. Okay. So for example, it's like, I look for you everywhere. I sometimes, oops, okay, I guess that message nobody was meant to get. Here's one, we need to let each other go. Things like this, okay? It's basically like for the lovers. Do you know what I mean? Or more so like for the people, I guess, in separation from their lovers. Because if you're actually with your lover, you're not going to be asking questions about them, right? Unless you think they're up to nefarious activities. But if you get to that point, that's your answer. You know what I mean? No, I'm not live every day. It's kind of random. As the week progresses, it's usually like less of a likelihood to be live. It kind of depends on the vibe of the day and like what's the 411. I do need to do an earlier live, you guys, for the international friends, okay? For people who are like on the other side of the world. So like the people who can't usually catch the live. So one day I will be on earlier. I just have to figure out when that's going to be because when I get into the rhythm of working, the day just like slips away. So that's basically that. I'm looking at what you guys were saying in here. Okay, so the final 2 decks, and this is what I used to use all the time for my true crime, and I think these are so on point, you guys. So I used to do true crime readings back in the day, and it was really interesting because there's a lot of salty people that those readings attracted. So that was like an interesting phase, but I still enjoyed doing them because at the end of the day, Scorpio dominant, you know what I mean? Like, let's get to the bottom of everything, you know. These are good too, I find, like if you're asking about people, if you're asking, oh actually no, I have more cards after this, okay? There's a grand finale, but this is like the pre-grand finale to the grand finale because these are really, really good. Thank you so much, Angela. Thank you for being a part of the lives. You said, what does my Scorpion energy and intuition tell me about things to come to me? I'm a Scorpio moon. Yeah, I'm a Scorpio moon. I'm a Scorpio dominant. That's my #1 energy. So that's been fun. At one point in time, all of my planets, like my personal planets, pretty much all of them, I think like, I can't remember what age, but if we look at secondary progressions, they were like all progressing to Scorpio. So that was definitely fun. So yes, I'm always able to pick up on the energy. If you're asking like about like what's going on. Okay. So this deck, okay, so this one is really good. And like, I'm not sure if people use this because I found this like way back in the day, okay, on some like random, like, you know, those like under like the radar channels that are just kind of like not like super mainstream. And it's wild because this person just like fell off after, but they were so good. Okay, they were so good. So I found out about these cards from that person and I'm curious to know like where this person is like at this point in time. Maybe their readings were too good, you know what I mean? But I really enjoy their readings. So this one's called the Sevilla, okay, Oracle deck. Okay, I'm not sure if people out there use it. I mean, I don't really watch any sort of channels like that anymore. But yeah, so that's how I discovered about them. They do have it has like a little booklet. It's like a little paper booklet. But what I love about these, okay, it's like, it'll kind of give you like the real information, what's going on in a situation. So you could always ask, like, even in your own life, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, there's something very scorpionic about these cards to me, and I just find them to just like be very truth revealing, but that's just my own opinion, okay? So for example, let me show you some cards, okay? In this deck, for example, we have Trap here, okay? This deck has like, let's say here we have like anger. Sometimes it has identifiers, so it's gonna say like, you know, widow, or, okay, speaking of widow, there's the widow card, okay? It's going to say widow, or, you know, there's other cards here. Angry woman, you know, angry woman. Like, look at the chair. Yeah, she's really angry. So angry woman, or like, let's say, you know, there's hope. Obviously there's like positive cards in here as well. There is, you know, weakness, enemy, like card, you know what I mean? Like things like this, a lot of money. Okay. And speaking of enemy, the enemy card shows itself. Okay. So I really enjoyed these for my true crime readings when I did those back in the day. We have love here, okay? Of course, we have love. There's reconciliation. There's thief, okay? Thief. Maybe someone's trying to steal your energy out there, whoever just tuned in. Delay, okay? So that's kind of like the vibe with this deck. So it's called the Sabia, okay? And I don't even remember where I found these. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me turn on the light, you guys. Give me one sec. Gosh, I'm like reborn. There was dark and now there's light. Thank you, Ron. Yeah, exactly. Ebbs and flows with the universe. You said sometimes you're high energy and sometimes you're low energy and sometimes you need a reset. Honestly, if you're ever like in that energy, if like, let's say you're a watery sign and you need a reset, you probably absorbed too much, okay, from everybody. So once again, these are the Sabia cards, okay? Really, really enjoyed those. Now there's another version of these as well. Yeah, concerned. Oh, stop that. Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Yes, there was dark and now there's light. Okay, now these ones too. Actually, I think these were the first version of these cards that I got before I got the Sabia, but I really like the Sabia, but this is kind of like a similar vibe, okay? These are called the Gypsy, okay? Gypsy Oracle cards. And as you guys can see probably by the box, like they're very used, okay? This one doesn't even have a top anymore. So like you can tell by like the quality of the boxes. I didn't show you guys some of the really dusty boxes because they're like, I use them a lot and they were my faves. And some of them like have their own little like bag thing or like container that I bought for them because like the box was literally falling apart, like my yes or no angel cards, because those are the ones that I use quite a bit or used to use quite a bit. Okay, so it's this. So those ones don't even have a box anymore because the box was literally falling apart for that one. Oh my gosh, you guys, and it's so funny. So when I go through like the plane security, okay? Oh my gosh, this is really funny. So when I go through the plane security, I always, in my bag, I always carry like my selenite tower, which I should show you guys. Maybe I can show you guys that on another live, okay? So I carry my selenite tower, which is like maybe that big. And, you know, I guess in the bag, it looks like a shampoo bottle. So it's so interesting because I just started noticing that every time they would kind of like take my bag to the side to like look through the bag, and like eventually I realized that it was a selenite tower that they were looking for, okay? So eventually what I would do, because I love to travel, if you guys are new to this channel, I love to travel, and check out my Instagram page for all my travel pics. Although I don't have all the pics for my travels ever, okay, on there. But since, you know, 2020, I've been posting a lot of my pictures, but I've been traveling for quite a while. So anyways, that's just like a side note. But anyways, in the recent past, I noticed that, again, they would take out my selenite thing, like my tower and whatever. And I'm like, why? And then I realized that, you know, in my mind, I was like, oh, it's because they probably think it's a shampoo bottle or something. So I did that. And then at one of the airports that I was at, I just like had put it on the side. And a lot of the time, it depends. Like they would like look at it. They'd be like, what is this? Like, what's going on? They're like confused. And then at one point, one of the ladies like who worked there told me that it actually like on the screen came up like, it didn't come up like a liquid, but it came up like something else. I don't know exactly what it is now, but like I guess that's why they would all be confused, like what is this thing? So I guess it actually does have its own frequency. So that's really cool. And then the other funny thing would be like, I would also carry my, so when I travel, you guys, if you're just tuning in, I carry my yes or no cards, I carry my tarot cards with me, and I carry my past life deck with me, okay? So that's, again, for me, for my friends, like when I'm abroad or whoever, okay? Sometimes my family members, just so I have the cards with me. But anyway, so the yes or no cards, the angel answers will be in their own box. And then those ones sometimes would like also get flagged. So I would just like start dying to myself when like the person at security would be like looking and they're like, what is this? Like in this box. And I'd be like, oh, those are my cards. And then they always just make some kind of like funny comment. I can't think of it now, but yeah, like not always, but a lot of the people do. So it's like, yeah. Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's a big selenite tower. Welcome to the live. You said, yeah, I've thought about that concern, but here is the thing. Here is the thing, okay? Why I don't post about travel. First of all, I just like don't like people being up in my business when I am like away. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, when I travel, I like to be in my own container, okay? And just like stay in the container. I mean, I could when I come back, like maybe when I'm abroad, like record, but it's just like, I'm not like the Gen Z generation who like records every aspect of my life. Like I've tried vlogging just like day-to-day things and then like I would like forget halfway through. Like I'm just not used to doing that. Like there's that part of the story. But the real like main part of the story, I guess, is like, I don't know, like I find that when people, like if you post things when you're doing something, it like energetically interferes with the trip because like then you're basically inviting all these people into your trip. Does that make sense? So that's my story about that, like why I don't post, for example, when I travel, but maybe I could make videos, but I don't know. I just like to be in the moment when I'm abroad, like really soak in the vibes. Because like the whole reason I like to travel is I like to feel the energy of the place I'm at. So it's this, but I could always make videos for you guys after if you guys have questions about certain places or like travel tips and tricks. Like I've tried to do like on the clock app, I've tried to make some videos where I do like travel tips and tricks, but it hasn't like, they never really like took off those types of videos. So I just kind of took it as a sign. Like back in the day, I was like, whatever, I'm just going to stick to my astrology stuff. You said you never think to even take pictures. I know, I kind of go and I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, got my pics and it's done. Because I like want to have at least a picture from there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Posting in real time. I never post anything in real time ever because I noticed actually that back in my partying days. Okay, so I went through a whole partying phase, you guys. Actually, that lasted quite a bit, but it was so much fun. But then, you know, when I got over it, it was like done and I don't even drink alcohol anymore. But anyways, back in my partying days, I noticed back then, okay? I noticed when I would be going out with my friends, so that's like my early 20s, I would notice if I would post on Instagram, like the night would go like whack, like it would be like all messed up. So that's when I like clocked that. I was like, hold on a second. I'm like, when I'm posting, it's like people send like energy. So you invite the energy in to basically whatever you're doing, okay, is really what it is. And like, you never know how people are truly feeling, okay? People always feel all types of ways and whatever, all these things. So that's why I just like kind of like to close the circuit. And then afterwards, when I'm done and it's finished and whatever, I open the energy up to it. You said, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so you guys, I showed you all of the cards. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. Oh my goodness, you guys, it's turning into like a whole orchestra over here. But anyways, I showed you the gypsy box, but I didn't show you the gypsy cards, okay? So here are the pictures, okay? So this is merchant, okay? And then on this one, we have, for example, young woman. Like, I loved these cards for my true crime stuff because I'd be like, who's there? Like, what's going on? Like, oh my gosh, you guys, I picked up on so many things. Like, I have a lot of those videos archived. They're still, like, on my pages because I had another page for that too before, but it's still there, but it's just archived, okay? We have haughtiness, which is interesting. The peacock came out twice, so maybe there's a message for some of you guys out there that there's someone around you like trying to peacock or like show off or whatever, okay? Then we have melancholy. I don't know, I just like really liked these cards, okay? I'm trying to see what else could I show you guys. Friend, there's a friend, you know? So I don't know. There's something so scorpionic about these cards that I loved. And yes, I used them for true crime, like doctor, okay? And all of these things. What else is there? Faithfulness here. So yeah, that's the gypsy. I love this deck, okay? So that's the gypsy deck. Basically now, okay, so this is a grand finale. Now I'm going to show you guys my cards, okay? So I actually made cards back then, and I think I was thinking about this last night because I was like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to show you guys this, and then I didn't check, but yes, I'm not sure if they're still available on the website, one of them, and the other one, I'm trying to think if I ever put them for sale or if they were just for me. So I'll show you guys these. So these ones could have been just for me. I made these when I would do my past life readings or if I would just like want more information. So this is like the back. They're very simple, you guys. Like, you know, I just wanted to have identifiers to like be able to identify people in a certain situation or a story. So for example, I have like salt and pepper hair, okay, well-spoken, you know, things like that, okay? For example, here I have green eyes, you know. I have like some timestamps in here as well, spirituality. What else do I have in here? Mediumship. Like there's so many. I think this one has like over probably like 70 cards. Like there are a lot of identifiers in here. Abandonment. I've got stable in here. Rejection. Like there's so much. There's so much. Generational, well-known, you know. So these were like my identifiers. Again, when I would do past life readings for people and when I would do even the true crime, sometimes I use these two. Music, earth sign, okay, on the run. Like I have some timestamps in here too. I'm just trying to find them to show you. Children, shamanism, tall, like, you know, identifiers is really, really what that is. Introvert, okay, extrovert. I'm just trying to find it because I was looking at these yesterday. Confidence, deception, glasses, like there's so many. Single, things like this, okay? But I'm just trying to find, oh, there it is. Okay, so here's an example, 1400s, okay, things like this. Magician, entrepreneur, you know, like things like this. Married, travel, passionate, okay? So things like this. Science, ego. So that's the idea with these cards. And again, I'm not sure if these were for sale. I'll double check after if any of you guys are interested and I'll put the link below. Okay, so those are my identifier cards. Then here's the grand finale. Okay, so, okay, let me tell you guys, just give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh, I have all the eye colors in there. So there's a website called Make Playing Cards and you can make your own cards on there. Yeah, I have all the eye colors. I have blue eyes, brown eyes, divine counterpart, coffee, like all these things. Yeah, maybe for one of you guys, the green eyes is like the symbol for jealousy for somebody. 1700s, 1600s. Green eyes is coming out again. So maybe some of you guys are like picking up on like someone around you is jealous. Sexuality. Honestly, there's so many things in here. I mean, I could probably do a whole video on these. Karmic. Okay, and then I have male, female in here, leadership. So yeah, that's pretty much that. It's identifiers, water sign, like all these things, okay? To basically blue eyes, okay? Books, third party, hipster, oh my goodness, loner, intuition. So you guys, I wrote a post on my threads, like as long as you guys are creative, you guys can always make money, okay? You just need to turn on that creative muscle, okay? And then figure out how to, if you live in, I guess, the Western world or a world where these things are accessible to you guys, okay? To basically use the internet. Artist, okay? I've got artist in here. Widowed. Honestly, like there's so much. Okay, here's the brown eyes one. I've got self-worth, everything. Honestly, like there's so many things. There's so much going on in here. I'm trying to see if there's one maybe I didn't show you guys. I have love. I just lost it. Air sign, hazel eyes. I got a hazel eyes in here. Black eyes, socioeconomic. Okay, I went above and beyond. Okay, animals, witty, soulmates. Okay, blonde hair. So all the things, okay? You got all the identifiers taking place in this one. So this is my identifiers deck. Hey, Infinite Zebra, I'm just showing you guys all my decks. If you're just tuning in, I'm pretty much at the end of showing you guys my deck. So here's, I guess, the grand finale. Okay, so fun fact, I guess maybe some of you guys know, maybe some of you guys don't know, but I had written a book in 2020, okay? And that's available on Amazon. You guys can find that on my shop. I have 2 books out, but like, it's a book, but it's like more so like an art piece because it's like one-liners. You know what I mean? It's not like a fiction. It's not like a novel. It's just like every page has one-liner. There's some poetry in there and so on and so forth, okay? So anyway, so I wrote the book. And then, you know, I just like got the idea in my head and I was like, I can take a lot of these one-liners and make them into oracle cards because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, you can flip the page and like get kind of like an answer for you. Now keep in mind, you guys, okay? You guys know I'm blunt, so these cards are blunt. So if you're soft or, you know, your feelings get hurt easily, like these are not going to be for you, okay? Because this is going to tell you the truth, right? So anyways, here's the picture at the back. I drew that myself, okay? And I don't even know if I named these. I'd have to check because it's been years now. Like this whole project is probably from like 2020, 2021, okay? And I haven't talked about these in so long. I literally forgot about them too, actually, until I saw all of these cards, you know, over there in my shelf. So, okay, I'm going to show you guys some of these cards. For example, we have everything comes full circle, okay? We got explore the repercussions of a broken heart, okay? Then we have respect that souls have free will. I'm trying to think what else there is in here because there was some like blunt ones in here. And some of them are like yelling, so they're like caps lock, okay? So it's like trying to really get the message across. Take time off your life and detox, or take time off to detox your life and integrate. Integrate. That's the struggle. Most people don't integrate. No more operating out of your shadows, okay? What else is there in here? Time will tell all things like this. Do you know what I mean? So again, for this one, I will put it in the description box below because I'm pretty sure I still have it on that website. But I don't know, I'd have to double check. But yeah, if you guys are interested, come back and check the description box below. It never looks like you think it will. Let's see. Oh, this is my favorite, and this is the blunt one in here. So if you guys are offended by profanity, click off now, like trigger warning, okay? I'm not going to say it because, again, it's just like you can't say certain words on here. But yeah, this one says, sometimes you have to say, I don't give an F and be on with your day. Okay, and that's just what it is. Sometimes you literally have to say that to yourself and be like, okay, whatever, like I'm just moving on with my day right now, okay? Love will always win, which I do truly, truly believe. At the end of the day, you have to see the bigger picture. Your greatest desire is also your greatest fear. That is like so facts, okay? Only you can free yourself, okay? What else do I have in here? Plant seeds, which I feel like is what I do all the time. The dream is now, okay? What else do I have in here? I'm not reading all of them to you guys, but yeah, just some of them. Don't let them suppress your light. That's a big one, okay? What else do I have in here? Stop waiting for others. Let's see. Every day is an adventure. Whee! Sagittarius vibes, okay? What else? Maybe you're not thinking big enough, okay? What else? Oh, this is triggering your inner child. Another one that's yelling, okay? What else? It's all distractions. Focus. I mean, there's also like calm ones, okay? It's not like they're all gonna yell at you, but yeah, like it's passion, you know? It's not yelling, it's passion, okay? Take it day by day. That one's a little bit more calm. You're chasing the wrong things, okay? No more gaslighting your intuition. That's a big one, okay, for the feminine energy out there. So those are my cards, and that is pretty much my grand finale for all the cards that I wanted to show you guys today. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, you guys. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat now. Yeah, I self-published my book. Yeah, that's what's wild concern. So I made these, and this is what I realized. I realized that I'm pretty much ahead of my time. I mean, I already knew that, but like I see it happening in real time. That's why I just say whatever's on my mind now. Like that's what gives me the confidence these days, because everything, like these are from 5 years ago. Like I made these either, I want to say, okay, so the book I made in 2020. So these could have been maybe 2021 that I published them. I'm trying to think. Don't quote me on that, but it was around that time, okay, when I put these out there. So yeah, and it's like, I was looking at them last night and I was like, wow, like a lot of these messages are pretty relevant today. Okay, for those of you who are in the chat and maybe you guys saw concerned, I know you wanted a card, okay? Which deck do you want a card from, okay? I'll do a card pull for some of you guys. Thank you! Let me know for you guys, okay? So for you guys who are currently in the chat and you guys want one card, I'll do one card pull for you guys. Let me know which deck stood out to you guys from all the decks that I showed you, and then I'll pull from that deck. If you guys want, obviously, it doesn't have to be everybody, but yes, give me 1 second. So while you guys decide, I'll be right back, okay? So intermission music, okay? Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's free. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's free. How am I going to charge you? Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to go in order. Okay, Caddy, you didn't see all the decks, but you want it for my deck? Okay, so you want one for my deck. Okay, so let's do it from my deck for Caddy. So, okay, let me do this because everything's flying all over the place. So I'm going to put this basket in my lap so the cards don't fly all over the place. Okay, so here are the cards, Caddy. Let's see. What is the message Caddy needs to know right now. Take this time to see what you really want. So I'm curious to know, maybe you're not working, or maybe you're unemployed, or maybe you have a lot of free time right now, or maybe you're single or something like that, okay? So this is the time to see what you really want. At the bottom of the deck, you've got allow it to spin out of control, okay? And then at the top, we have you must surrender to the divine. So I feel like, just kind of hooking into this, something ended for you recently. Maybe you have more free time. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it is a friendship. Maybe it is a job. And now you kind of have this space in your life, okay, to kind of see what is it that you truly, truly want. Okay, so that was for Caddy. Let's see who is next. Okay, license to bill, you want the chakra deck. Okay, so the chakra deck for license to bill. Okay, so this is the chakra deck. I'm not going to show you the cover like I mentioned earlier because I've used these quite a bit, so the cover is not that nice anymore. But yeah, so let's see, what does license to deck or license to bill need to know? Okay, you got physical health, vitality, strength, body image, and balance. Okay, oh, and hold on, I have to do this. Okay, or maybe even this for, you know, the privacy reasons. But that's your card. And at the bottom, you got insight, understanding, awakening, awareness, and self-evaluation. I'm curious to know if you go to the gym or if you exercise or something of that sort. Oh my gosh, another one's coming out. This is the other card that's also not PG-13. How can I cover this to show you? Okay, this card basically says sexuality, okay? And then it says openness, sharing, beauty, and honor at the bottom, okay? So you gotta keep it PG-13 for the tube, okay? But that's basically that. So you got two of these cards, something with physical health, maybe something's going on with your sacral chakra or something of that sort. Maybe you need to clear something that's going on here, but that's basically what came out for you, okay? Okay, next. Oh, thank you, Angela. I just got your message. Thank you so much. Okay, let's see who is next in here. Okay, Concerned, you want my deck, okay? Okay, so the message for Concerned from my deck. Let's see, what does Concerned need to know at this time? Elevate yourself. So you got the Elevate Yourself card, okay? So something about clearing your energy. Okay, and another one was also peeking through here, also jumped out. Take time off and detox your life and integrate, okay? So something to do, maybe you've absorbed a lot of energies or something of that sort. At the bottom, you've got the biggest lessons are on the physical plane, okay? And then at the top, you got you light the way. You definitely got that light, Concern. I think it's about trusting the inner light that you've got within. Yeah, I don't do predictive readings, okay? So I'm not going to do any sort of predictive readings, but I can do just like a random card pull, okay? So pick a random card for you guys. You can ask the question in your head, but it's just random cards, okay? Just like a message of the day kind of thing, okay? Aisha, all that I can say for your question is if you're already having doubts, there's probably something there that you're picking up on that's not necessarily aligned for you, okay? Let's see who is next. Okay, Infinite Zebra. Did you have any? Okay, you didn't have any preference. You missed the different decks. Okay, so I'm gonna do the Light Workers deck for you. Okay, Work Your Light. That's the one that kind of jumped out at me. So let's see what your message of the day is. Okay, for Infinite Zebra message, you also got two cards that came out. You got Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? Okay, and then also you've got boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? So this is some kind of A-house energy going on right here, okay? Something going on here. Let's see, at the bottom, okay, confirmation, it just says yes. So it's just confirming for me. And then at the top, you've got Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes, okay? So that's for Infinite Zebra, message of the day, okay? So that is that. Okay, Chi, I'm going to do you now. You also wanted from my deck. Okay, so let's see what your message of the day is. What does Chi need to know today? What does Chi need to know? Message for Chi. This is triggering your inner child. So maybe something going on, some kind of situation or whatever you're thinking about is triggering your inner child. You're right on track though, okay? Right on track. And then at the top, it's all distractions, focus. So maybe there's something going on where your inner child is being triggered, maybe something with family, maybe someone that you're involved with, okay? But you're on track and whatever is happening around you is actually a distraction, okay? I guess to throw you off your path, maybe. That's kind of what I'm getting. I know, this is a lot of fun, right? I wanted to do something different today. Okay, Aisha, random card pull. Okay, for Aisha, let's see. I'll get to you guys at the top in just a second. Aisha, which deck should I do for you? Okay, I'm going to do the Divine Abundance deck for you, okay? So what is the message? It looks like it kind of already fell out. One sec, BRB. Okay, I'm back. Okay, so this is a random message for Aisha. I'm not going to, the ones that fell on the ground, we're not going to do those, okay? Because I didn't shuffle. So let's see, what does Aisha need to know today? Message for Aisha today. Loss. You said sometimes you learn true offering through loss. You make a passionate invitation for love to take over and bring her own plan instead of the egos. I feel like that might answer the question actually that you had, but this is the card for you today, okay? So that's what came out for you. Let's see what's at the bottom here. Bottom of the deck says outrageous openness. It says, dear love, open me to your will. So it's in quotation marks. Maybe this is something that can be like a mantra or something of that sort. Release me from my attachments. See, attachments coming out again. Surprise and delight me with your plan. So I guess this is to God, okay? Because it's your with a capital Y. You said, you know what's needed. I am open to receive, okay? So there is the card. That's the bottom of the deck. I look at the top and the bottom, you guys. And then at the top, we have ease. And this is another one that's in quotation. So again, kind of like a mantra type of vibe. It's easy for me to receive. It's easy for me to receive. It's easy for me to receive, okay? So I kind of feel like in your situation, there's something here with the ego. And like the ego is not something where you're full of yourself, but I just feel like maybe you're doing something out of safety, out of like mandatory energy or something of that sort, and out of fear, right? It's always the fear. But it kind of seems like if you open your energy up, you will receive what it is that you are looking for. Does that make sense? I hope it does. You're welcome. Tiffany, you said Mars is Libra and you have Libra Mars. Is it going to make you more powerful or the situation will be more chaotic? Which situation? Is it the one that we used to talk about before, maybe 2 months ago? Okay, I'm trying to see who else is there in here. I'm just pulling one card pull for you guys. So if you guys have something you think about in your mind, like I'm not doing psychic readings or like not really doing predictive readings, I guess you can say. Like I don't like to do those, but yeah, it's just like a random card pull just for fun because I was showing you guys my oracle decks today. So yeah, let's see what else you guys saying in here. Okay, Silverest, I'm gonna pull one for you. Which deck do you want, Silverest? If you're still in the room. I'm glad that it resonated, that's good. Okay, any deck? All right, for you, I'm gonna do my OG. No, I'm not charging, you guys. This is for free because I'm doing it for fun. Don't worry. Just make sure you guys like the video so we can find more astrology friends, okay? That can be the energy exchange. Like the video by double tapping on the screen. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to my channel, okay? But I'm not charging for anything. But thank you for the super chats, okay? You guys are awesome. Okay. Topic. Oh, hey, Clarice, how are you? I've been showing everyone my oracle cards. It's interesting. Today's like the last day of retrograde post shadow, so I guess we're throwing it back. So I'm showing everyone my oracle cards, and now I'm doing a random oracle card pull. If you guys want one, I'm not answering a question. It's just like a message of the day kind of thing. So if you want one, let me know. Okay. So this was for White Orchards. Okay, it's going to be the energy of the oracle. Okay, oh, okay, this book I wasn't going to show you guys because it's a little bit old, but yes, okay. So let's see, what does White Orchards need to know today? What does White Orchards need to know today? Man holding a coin. So this could be you trying to get your bag if you're the man holding a coin, or maybe you're looking for a man holding the coin. Top number here is 43. It could be something connected to the crown chakra here because it's 7. Financial constraints. Maybe you're worried about money. Maybe you're worried about finances. But look, we have the 4th chakra here. And it was actually in reverse, even though I don't really read reversals. But there's something here, I feel like, that is, you're worried about money and you're worried about finances, but it's actually connected to your heart chakra because you're going in like an ego-driven like route or reason. And when I say ego-driven, it doesn't mean like, you know, ego when people talk about ego. I just mean like maybe something comfortable, maybe something safe, and maybe you're not getting the financial outcome that you're looking for. So you maybe want to work on actually your masculine energy. That's kind of what I'm getting because this is the solar plexus chakra here, okay? So everything always comes back down to the self, you guys, even if it's another person in your life, okay? But yeah, so that's what's happening here, like working on the masculine energy within. So it could be discipline, it could be, you know, focus. For example, maybe you've been scattered or something of that sort, and that could be energetically interfering with your financial situation, okay? Oh, I'm glad that you like that I changed it up. Yeah, I wanted to switch up the vibes. Oh, I'm coming in and out. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Sometimes it does that. Do you see the interference that takes place? Okay, let's see what you guys were saying at the top here. Who was next? Yes, thank you, Concerned. I am definitely psychic, but I'm not doing any predictions. I don't like doing predictions for people. Tatiana said you're choosing between two paths. Okay, Jess, whichever deck I'm drawn to. Okay, so for Jess, let's do actually the Moonology. Okay, so we're going to do the Moonology deck for Jess. Okay, so let's see the message for Jess today. What is the message for Jess? What does Jess need to know? Whoop, 2 flew out. Okay, BRB, you guys. Actually, I'm just going to, if I do BRB, it might like mess up the sound. So 1 sec. Okay. Okay, hold the vision. You got fixed moon. Okay, so there's something here where maybe you have some sort of dream, some sort of vision, something you're trying to bring through. You got balance, spirituality with practicality as well. This one's full moon in Pisces, which is coming up. So maybe that's going to be significant for you. And this one was fixed moon. And then at the bottom, you got prosperity lies ahead. That's nice. See, this is the good thing, you guys. With the Oracle cards, you always got positive energy coming out. You know what I mean? If you want the cool hard truth, tarot, or the ones I was telling you guys about earlier, the Sabia or even the Gypsy deck, okay? We got the energies gaining momentum. So maybe you've been working on some sort of project. Maybe you're waiting to see the outcome of some sort of project, and maybe you'll see it soon, okay? Maybe, you know, again, the full moon in Pisces is going to be significant for you. Oh, you're starting a business. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay, let me see, Ed. I think I saw your message because I'm going in order. Okay, Ruby, I see Ruby, Silverest. Where's that? Okay, you said exactamente, so I didn't know if you wanted a reading or if you were just like passionate about whatever was being said at that time. Okay, Ed and then Ruby. Ed, do you have a deck you would like? Oh, I'm so glad that it resonated. Yay! Okay, Ed and Ruby, tell me if you guys have a deck that you guys would like out of all the decks that I showed, or if you guys just want any random one. Okay, my choice. Okay, Ed, you're gonna get this one. Let's see. Angels and Ancestors. Okay, so for Ed, the Angels and Ancestors deck. Let's see. Okay, what does Ed need to know today? Okay, you got 2. Interesting. This is interesting. You got the Druid card. Okay, hold the space. And then you also got Drum, Dream and Journey. So maybe you're interested in music, drumming. Maybe drumming is something that you do, okay, for work, or maybe you're interested in pursuing this, or maybe going to like a drum circle or listening even to like drumming meditation will give you some information to come through. And as I'm saying that, it says wait for information at the bottom here. Okay, so there's something here about getting in tune with your gifts and your psychic abilities, okay? And look at that, stand on your ground. There's mountains as well. So this is kind of like a side message, something to do with like maybe a situation that you're in. Maybe you're waiting for an answer or a response, maybe from a job or something of that sort. I'm actually seeing like a legal thing, so I don't know if that's what you're waiting for. But yeah, if that's what it is, maybe like, again, you'll have some sort of revelation if you go to like a drumming thing or like listen to drumming meditation or something of that sort. Hey, Just T. You said, what's Pisces in the 6th house about? I'll get to that one. Okay, Ruby, I'm answering all of the Oracle card questions. I'll get to the astrology ones in just a second. Okay, Ruby, you said any random one. Okay, I picked up the angel. Oh, I see your other message here, Ed. Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. You said just for your near future. Okay, Oracle of the 7 energies is going to be for Ruby. Oh, you do music. There you go. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay, so maybe a little bit of drumming might inspire you, or There you are. Stop. You're a drummer? Are you, okay, you said you're a dreamer, but can you tell me, are you a drummer? Because that would be so interesting. But yeah, Pisces and Venus, definitely like Pisces energy in a natal chart is all about music. Hey, Nene. Okay, this one is going to be for, let me just go back up here. Ruby, where are you? Ruby, where are you? Okay, there you are. Okay, random one for Ruby. What does Ruby need to know? What does Ruby need to know today? Okay. So for Ruby, you got great and full, okay? And I'm gonna read from the book for you. But look, it looks like winning something or just like gratitude or something of that sort. Bottom of the deck is beyond the ordinary. Just look at these pictures, you guys, okay? And then top of the deck is seeing beyond. You got beyond twice, okay? So there's something here. Again, also maybe you're also getting in tune with like your psychic gifts and abilities. Let's see what this number 4 is all about. Let's see. Great and full. Okay, so key concepts, okay? Oh my gosh, literally what I said. The mindful practice of gratitude, knowing that you are enough, committing to your intentions, a sense of sufficiency, letting go of attachment to form. Okay, before you can begin to understand the process of manifesting your desires, you need to practice deep gratitude and the willingness to share that with others. This is the true nature of prosperity. It's not about the things you accumulate at all. It's about how you feel, and that's in italic, okay? You're invited to surrender to an important truth. There is always enough for you. There is enough time to do the things you need and desire to do, enough opportunities to express your talents and connect to your purpose, and enough magic circulating through the invisible world to be visible, okay? So that is for Ruby. I'm just putting these back. Let's see who's next. Silverus, did I skip you? Okay, I'll do you next. Do you have any deck that you would like? Out of all my decks, you said no, you love music. It's fascinating to you and you play guitar and violin over your young years. Okay, that is perfect. Frequencies exactly in communication with the universe. Silverus, if you're still in the chat, let me know. Any deck is fine. Okay. Let's see. Which one should I do for Silverus? Okay, I'm going to do messages from the Oracle, from the fairies Oracle cards, okay? What does Silverus need to know today? What's the message for Silverus today? Oh, it flew out. One sec. Oh, this is interesting. You got the Sun card. Your son is watched over and protected as he explores the world. I'm curious to know, do you have a kid? At the bottom, you have holiday. The answer you're looking for can be found during a vacation, retreat, or holiday getaway, okay? And then we have flower power. Spend time with flowers and flower essences to increase your personal healing power. So maybe having more flowers in the house or something of that sort is going to bring through healing energy for you. So that was for Silverus. Okay, let me go back up and see who I may have missed. Okay, I see Clarice here at the bottom. Let's see, where was I up here? Okay, I did you guys up here. Infinite Zebra, I did you. Okay, Azafor, you are next. You said from my deck. Okay, we're gonna do my deck now. So Azafor, what does Azafor need to know today? What does Azafor need to know today? Everything comes full circle. So maybe you're worried in a situation someone isn't gonna get their karma, but it's not your place to be that person's karma, okay? Everything comes full circle. Huge energetic upgrades, okay? You have that too. At the top, we have explore the repercussions of a broken heart. So I'm curious to know if you went through a separation at this point in time with somebody, or maybe there's someone from the past that is still lingering in your energy field, and there's something there that needs to be basically addressed or something of that sort. You said you have a daughter. Interesting. That's interesting. You said she's in the army. That's so interesting that the Sun card came up. Let's see. You're welcome. Okay. Let's see who I may have missed. Okay, Clarice, you're next. You said any deck, I believe. You're welcome. You said make it random. Okay, which one should I do for Clarice? Let's do the Gypsy Oracle cards, okay? So Clarice, you're gonna get the Gypsy Oracle cards. So let's see what's going on here with these cards. What's the information here? What's going on for Clarice? What does Clarice need to know at this time? Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, so you got the Death card come out, but you know, don't take this literally. Obviously, this is just like the ending of something, okay? Change, transformation. You have Soldier at the bottom, and then you also have Lover at the top. So I'm curious for you too, if there's something going on with like an ending with a relationship or something you're letting go, or like a lover that you're letting go of, or something of that sort. So that is what came out for you. I'm just checking to see who I may have missed. Let's see. I think I did all of you guys. I think I pretty much did all of you guys. So I got everybody once. I'm just seeing if there's anybody else in here. I don't think so. All of you guys that are here today, well, thank you for being a part of this live. I'm just going to answer this question. What is Pisces in the 6th house about? Honestly, when you have Pisces in the 6th house, the 6th house is your daily acquaintances. It's going to be health, healing, and being of service. So because it's Pisces, like there could be some level of hypochondria here, okay? Where like, or even avoidance, like it can go into either of the extremes where you either kind of go into the shadow of the crown and you worry about anything to do with like the health realm, right? But it's Pisces. So it's like you go into the shadow of the crown. So you're like thinking about like this in a negative sense, or Pisces can also be avoidance. So Pisces in the 6th could like avoid the doctor, for example, or avoid health things, or like these types of things, or like not have trust in medicine and so on and so forth. Now, in another way this energy can manifest, this could be a healer, right? So maybe you come up with some sort of healing modality and all of these things, okay? Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, you guys, if you want your own natal chart reading, synastry reading, progressed natal chart reading, mini natal chart reading, mini synastry reading, you guys can send me an email, okay? You select which reading you guys would like, an email window should pop up, and you send me an email, we'll go from there. Hey, Three Heavens Healing, how are you doing? What's new? You said earlier you asked about Pluto in the 6th house. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I didn't answer Pluto in the 6th. That's interesting because that's usually power struggles when it comes to work. You might have issues at work. That could also be secret lovers at work too, okay, when you have Pluto in the 6th house. But overall, Pluto in the 6th, like, there's power struggles at your work, okay? It's really what it is. Yeah, today's topic was me showing you guys all my Oracle deck cards, and then we did like a fun card pull at the end. So since you're just tuning in, let me know if you would like a random Oracle card pull. And then I'm going to sign off. So I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Yeah, I'm pretty much at the end. Okay, I'll do one for you and then I'm gonna go, okay? So, okay, let's do Divine Abundance. Divine Abundance. Okay. So this is the Divine Abundance deck. Okay. What does Three Heavens Healing need to know at this time? Three Heavens Healing. What do you need to know at this time? Okay, you got allowing, okay? Allowing. Radical acceptance says yes to reality in any given moment. So what's needed next can come, okay? Or so what's needed can come next. Okay, so hold on, let me put it like this so you can see. That's the allowing card. I have different prices for my natal chart readings. So my natal chart readings go from the mini natal chart reading. You have to check on my website to get the exact price, okay? Because I have my shorter readings and then I have my full length and depth readings, okay? So definitely check it out. You have letting go at the bottom, which kind of goes with the radical acceptance. It says everything is indeed out of control and God will hold it all. I can safely let go, Okay, that's at the bottom. And look, divine love at the top. What you offer everything to the divine with attachment, you begin a love affair with spirit. Okay. All right, you guys. So that is my live for today. Thank you all for being here. I'm so glad that you guys enjoyed the live. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. Thank you for being a part of the channel. Okay, I'm glad that that one resonated, Clarice, because it did feel, I was like, oh my gosh, the death card. But that's good to hear that there have been new beginnings in your life, which means a lot of endings. That's so good. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad that you're loving it. Check out my channel and check out my playlists, okay? You'll always find everything you need in the playlist over here on my channel, okay? If you guys want a reading, natal chart reading, synastry reading, progress natal chart reading, mini natal chart reading, mini synastry reading, business guidance, okay? If you guys want to do your own social media career as well, okay? Start your own business, anything, okay? I have all that on my website and I have my shop, okay? Check out my shop as well. So thank you for being here. I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your day or evening, wherever you are. Bye!